This episode of Off My Shelf contains coarse language and adult conversation. Listener discretion is advised. My name is Tracy James and welcome to Off My Shelf, a podcast about movies that are well off my shelf, where we go through my DVDs, talk about the movies in my collection. In this episode, Brendan Crates joins me in talking about two very different comedies with Napoleon Dynamite and National Lampoon's Van Wilder. Welcome!
Thank you. Thanks for having me on this very prestigious birthday episode.
I know, it's the 100th episode of the show. Yay!
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Off My Shelf podcast. Happy birthday to you.
And many more. Thank you very much. Yes.
No worries.
I have to apologize for you for the 100th episode and to you, because after watching these two movies, I'm like, I really should have picked better movies for the 100th episode. That's all I gotta say. But also, I don't know. I think I am just surprised I made it to episode 100, because I was surprised when I made it through episode 1. Didn't think I would make it to episode 2, but here we are. It's fine.
I was surprised when you told me it was 100 episodes, because I know you've been doing this for a while, and I mean, I think I've been on 4 or 5. So that automatically means that there must be quite a lot more. But I was well done. Congratulations. That's very impressive.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'll tell you the key. The key is schedules, lots and lots of schedules and alarms on my phone and all that kind of stuff. It's great. I will tell you one secret. The second episode of this show, I recorded it, and I think I did it with Jess. I did not watch the movies for those episodes, but I could not admit that on the second episode. I faked it till I made it. It was fine.
Have you watched all of them since, or are there?
Yes, I have made it to watch every single one of them since. I did it. Yeah. Don't worry. Yes.
Because there's part of me that as the clock was ticking down, and I hadn't watched Van Wilder yet, and it wasn't available here anywhere very easily. I was like, I've seen it before. It'll be fine. But I did watch it last night.
Okay. At least you made it. Yes. My other question to you was, okay, so we're at the 100th episode. It's the anniversary of the show. Are there any episodes that you weren't on? And do you have comments about any of those movies or anything I said that you really wanted to get out?
Yes. No, just one particular one. But before that, I want to say I have listened to quite a few and overwhelmingly enjoy them. Especially I can't make it this year, but the Christmas episodes and all of the special episodes with the big groups are always a lot of fun. Yeah. Actually, I think one of the first ones I ever listened to was one of the Christmas ones, and it was a little bit overwhelming as a first one, but I really liked it.
Those episodes are a torture to record, to edit. A lot of fun to record, because usually by the end we're all hopped up in sugar and drunk. But they are actually my most popular episodes every year. It's great.
Oh, really? Yeah, and I imagine pretty difficult to schedule. I remember last year because I did the one last year, and I was having a few drinks here at 10 in the morning. So it was very fun. And then my wife came home and was like, what have you been doing? It's lunchtime.
You're a pro. You got to be day drunk. It's fine. It's fine.
Exactly. I was feeling left out otherwise. But I guess, and I think overwhelmingly, and I don't know if this is kind of, maybe this is boring for the 100th episode, but overwhelmingly, I think our tastes are pretty similar. We like a lot of the same things. And so typically I'm on the same page with you. Mm-hmm. But then I listened to the Jurassic Park episode that you guys did. And then just the whole time I was like, in a lot of ways I do agree with you guys. There were just some really key points. And I was like, you're so wrong.
Okay, so the Jurassic Park episode was 2 years ago, I think.
It's a while back. Yeah.
I do not remember what I said, and B, I'm surprised because I'm pretty sure I really like Jurassic Park. Well, at least the first movie. So
yeah, but
I
you
don't
did the whole
feel
series. And
I
it was
did.
the later ones in the series where we probably diverge a bit more.
Okay.
Because I also really like Jurassic Park. I think we can tick off Jurassic Park as we both agree.
Yes. Yes.
And then I think maybe your opinions of The Lost World. I can't remember what you guys thought about The Lost World.
I remember, like, The Lost World is nowhere near as good as the first Jurassic Park.
Agreed.
And the biggest problem with all the sequels is that they focus on the dinosaurs. Like, we gotta show dinosaurs eating things, or we have to show dinosaurs trampling things every like 3 seconds. And you're like, no, the reason why the first movie was good is that they're really character studies. Each person is a specific character that's growing and changing and understanding the world in a different way. They just happen to be lost in a dinosaur park that's gone awry. That's it.
And I think that's where we start to divert. I do mostly agree. So I think that like the first one is definitely that. And I think that's why for me Lost World just doesn't work. And we I've talked about this quite a lot recently. We're talking about the Jurassic Park sequels and stuff. That The Lost World for me doesn't work. And I know a lot of people, it's their favorite. Like I know a lot of people really like The Lost World.
Really?
But for me, it's just so boring.
Yes.
And like my son's super into dinosaurs, and he can't even get through The Lost World. Like we just get so bored every time we try and watch it. And I think a big part of why that one doesn't work for me is that the character of Ian Malcolm doesn't feel anything like the character of Ian Malcolm from Jurassic Park. Like, he doesn't. It's like they've tried to turn him into an action hero, and that's not what people like about him. Like so
it's his intellectuality and his smarminess. You know.
Yes.
That's what people enjoy about him. Like, he's right, but does he have to say it that way? Like, what is your problem?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, like, that one's an interesting one for me because I think it's really well made. Like, there's a lot of that Steven Spielberg footprint still there, but it just doesn't land for me. Like, there's something about it that, like, Jurassic Park 3, I think, is objectively a worse movie than The Lost World.
Yes.
But I enjoy it more than The Lost World at the same time. Like, I have more fun watching it. So it's an interesting thing. But I think that's maybe where, because I know you're not a big fan of the Jurassic World films. No. And I think that's where we diverge a little bit, because I think for me, Jurassic World is where they realized they couldn't recreate Jurassic Park. I think for Lost World and 3, they kind of were trying to recreate Jurassic Park a little bit. Whereas I think in Jurassic World, they were like, we can still use this universe, this world, but we can tell different stories in it. We don't have to be so trapped in what they did before. So like we can, and I think, like you say, they're very much different movies. They're action movies over that kind of more, I'd say the first one's more of an adventure kind of movie, whereas maybe I think the later ones are more straight action and even maybe sneak into some other genres after that. But I think for me, and I from memory, kind of similarly for you, Jurassic World is pretty good. Like, I don't know, it's like
I find it more entertaining than Jurassic Park 3 for sure.
Yes, for sure, me too.
But like, I just find they make the characters really unlikable, and they do really cruel things to people that they shouldn't do cruel things to.
Yeah.
And I know in, like, quote unquote the real world, it doesn't matter if you're cool or nice or you don't deserve it. I get it, but it's a movie. You get to choose.
Yeah.
So like
that's fair. Yeah.
You know, like the thing they did to like the assistant, for example, where she's like, the kids run away from her. She's trying to find them. She gets picked up by like a pterodactyl or whatever. And then the pterodactyl gets eaten by the water whale thing. And chewed up. And you're just like, but why are you doing this to this poor girl? What did she do?
I think it's because she has enough lines that you kind of know who she is, but she's not, like, they don't want to kill any of my characters. So at the same time, they're like, who do we do it to? And maybe there's not that many obvious choices. Because I think Masrani is quite similar. like the guy that owns the park, where he like his helicopter blows up, and like it's again, he's got enough dialogue that we kind of care what happens to him, but we also
but with him it's different because he is that rich billionaire guy who he sees it as an adventure, not as like a life and death situation. So True, when he's just like, oh, well, I'll fly the helicopter, look, I'm really good at it, yeah, and then he dies, you're just like, just because you're rich doesn't mean you're gonna live. And so it's slightly different. I feel like,
I guess because she's more. It's easier to like a billionaire getting killed than like someone working as that, like an assistant. I get that.
Who's already stressed out, and people are doing mean things to her for no reason. Like the kids, it's not her fault the kids ran away from her. She's really trying to do her job. And then this crazy thing happens and she's being trampled. This bird picks her up and like pecks her in her side and like flips her around and then gets munched up with like another. It was just like overkill for this.
I think it is definitely. I mean, if I was ever in a Jurassic Park film, I'd hope to go out like that because it is so cool. Like it is a very cool sequence, but it is too much, and it does feel like that should have been a villain. Yeah, like it does feel like that was the death a villain should have had.
Yeah, it should have been like
average lady.
Yeah, like I know, like what is it? Vincent D'Onofrio? Is it Vincent D'Onofrio?
Yes. Yeah, he should have gone the other way. Yeah.
Yeah. Like he gets his comeuppance, like when the Velociraptor like eats him and everything. He gets it. It's fine.
Yeah.
But I feel like it should have been like one of his henchmen or him or whatever. That I think that is a really fair criticism, actually. I still quite like that movie. I think it's not my favorite, because we're going to talk about my favorite in a second, and this is I think where we really diverge. But I think Jurassic World did what it was trying to do pretty well. Like I think it kind of reinvigorated that franchise. It kind of built on the promise of actually getting to see a park that's working, and it has restaurants and people at it and all of those kinds of things. And I feel like maybe it's also the first sequel that felt like it ever pushed the story forward after Jurassic Park did. Like I feel like The Lost World is just like, it's Jurassic Park again, but it's a different island. And then the Jurassic Park 3 is like, yeah, we're still on the same island again. And then Jurassic World, it is still that, I guess, a bit, but it's pushing it forward. It's like the story is going to continue. More is going to happen from here. Yeah, I feel like time has properly passed there. It's just like, we improve things and we're making money and see, it really does work and blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
And then we get to Jurassic Park Fallen Kingdom. And I think that is where we really diverge. Because my memory is that you guys really didn't think much of it and were quite, you didn't hate it. You were just very flippant about it. I feel like you were like, it doesn't matter. Like, it's a pointless movie. And
which one's Fallen? Is Fallen Kingdom the second one?
Yeah. The second Jurassic World one.
Wait. Yes. Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
That movie, like, if you think about the implications of the end of that movie and all that kind of stuff, no.
I think yes, 100% yes. I love that movie so much. I think like it does so much well and cool, and at the same time has some weird stuff. Like definitely has some weird stuff, but so does Jurassic Park. So Jurassic Park has a little bit of weird stuff too. But I think like one, it pushes the story forward. Like they're not just stuck on islands anymore. They're actually actively trying to do something. I think it builds on a lot of the kind of mythos and stuff that it was alluded to in the other movies, like some of that genetic manipulation and the fact that maybe they're not really dinosaurs, like in the truest sense, and all of those kinds of things. I like that it's a spooky Gothic mansion with a big scary dinosaur chasing people around it. Like it's like almost a bit horror. Like it's getting into that horror territory. But then I think at times it's also maybe of the Jurassic Worlds especially more emotionally touching than some of the other Jurassic films, like when the Brachiosaurus dies and things like that at the end of the island. Like I feel like for the most part, Jurassic World doesn't have a lot of emotional beats. And to be honest, most of the Jurassic Park sequels don't have a lot of emotional beats. But I feel like that one actually does, and I think it's got some really nice editing and things, especially in the mansion and that stuff at the end. Like it's like Frankenstein, but with dinosaurs. And and maybe a lot of this is just appeals to my very specific things that I am interested in. But I think like Jurassic Park: Fallen Kingdom is my second favorite Jurassic Park movie by like a significant margin.
Wow. Okay.
And I really disappointed because my son doesn't like it too much. I think because maybe it's a little bit too scary. But we don't get to watch that one nearly as often. But I don't know. There's so much to like in it, and I really struggle to think of things in that movie that I don't like. Like maybe that it's got a bit too much going on. Like maybe that there is a lot happening in that movie. But
there is a lot happening in that movie.
Almost two stories. Like there's the island story, which is like the first half, and then the mansion story, which is almost like the second half. Oh, and all the things with like people buying, like criminals coming and buying dinosaurs, and the little Donald Trump guy that's selling them. Like it's just, I don't know, it's just so much fun. I feel like that one in comparison to, I feel like after Jurassic Park, there wasn't a lot of fun for a long time in the sequels and things. But I feel like this one just has like a lot of fun with the idea of it, and it's not afraid to get a little bit weird. And like say, the first Jurassic Park's a little bit weird. So I don't know. I love it. That's probably the only time that I really felt that we disagreed on anything. Like for the most part, I really tend to well, even if we don't fully agree, we're kind of on the same page. Whereas I feel like this movie, and I don't think you need to change your opinion or anything like that, but I think this is the one that I really can point to that I feel like I felt very differently.
Well, people can't see this, but I was smirking. I was like nodding along with what you were saying. I'm like, I disagree.
Yeah,
yes. I mean,
but at least I finally got to say it.
Yes, you do. Well, the funny thing is that so you talk about when the island's blowing up and like the dinosaurs are getting burned and whatever, the ones that are left behind. Okay, that was touching. I get it, right? But then you have to like when the kid finds out that she's actually like a clone and all this kind of stuff, and they're just like, look at her sad child eyes and blah. And I'm like, oh, push her downstairs. Like that's all I felt. Like I was not into it at all. But I must admit, I didn't see the most recent one that came out this year. I never got around to watching it. I will watch it. I just didn't make it to the theater.
I would say it's okay. That's kind of where, like, it doesn't to me live up to. So the other thing with Fallen Kingdom, like, is it literally pushes the series into new territory with dinosaurs being in the real world.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that's the most exciting part of Fallen Kingdom's finish. Like the finale is that, okay, now there are dinosaurs in the world. And that's a cool, different thing that we haven't really seen before. And then I feel like the new movie doesn't really pay off.
I want to say I disagree. Because in Lost World, there is a T-Rex and her baby on a ship just hanging out on the ocean. Who knows where that ship ended up?
That is true. Yeah, we don't know what happened, but they seemingly got rid of them. Whereas in this one, like all the dinosaurs are off. It's very clear the dinosaurs are off in the real world. We have to kind of live alongside them now, and I think that new status quo is interesting. It's like we've created our own demise in a way. So our choice is we kind of cohabit with these creatures that we've created, or they win, like that actually we go extinct. And I think that's kind of an interesting thing, because that so much of those early movies are about kind of zoos and things like that. And I think you guys talked a lot about this in the podcast episode.
I think it was the perception of control and treatment of animals. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I think this kind of finally like fulfills that, like that you can't control these things, like and if you kind of don't treat these things, if you treat these things as assets, and Jurassic World really started with that, like that these things aren't real creatures, and if you treat them that way, then it's not going to work. And you need to recognize the power and the place that these things that we've created now have in the world. And I think that's a really interesting idea, that that now we have to live with those creatures and those choices that these people have made. And Dominion doesn't really live up to that. Like, unfortunately, I think maybe future movies might, but it really and I get it. Like they need to get, because it's that legacy movie with the old characters and the new characters. They need an excuse to put them all in one place.
Yeah.
And that doesn't really work if it's a worldwide story. But I felt like they abandoned that part of the story pretty quickly, and like it doesn't really change it. Like at the end of the movie, it hasn't really changed anything. Like it's all still kind of in the same place that it was in at the end of Fallen Kingdom. So it's not bad. Like there's some fun stuff in it, but I feel like it's very much going in that action direction that the other ones have, but maybe it feels almost like that Fast and the Furious level of action direction.
Oh, no,
now.
I don't like that.
And there's some fun stuff with it, but it's not anything. I feel like there's a lot of fun sequences, but as a movie, it doesn't really work that well. Like it's a lot going on. I still enjoyed it. Like I've watched it a couple of times now. If you get a chance to watch it, watch the extended version. I think that is better. But but I don't know. Doesn't beat Fallen Kingdom. Fallen Kingdom's still the second best.
The other thing that's coincidental with this is that so I've been into audiobooks lately. I love reading and stuff, but it's getting the time to focus on like one thing has been very difficult. So
Definitely,
it's like,
I understand that.
you know, headphones on, doing a bunch of things, listening to like a book. Fine, works. And right now I'm listening to Jurassic Park.
Oh, really?
That's just how it's working right now. And I have to admit, I love the Jurassic Park movie. Don't get me wrong, but I kind of wish they made the book movie. I would love to see how that worked.
I'm trying to remember if I've ever read the book. I think I probably did in like high school. I remember reading the Lost World book because I was waiting for the Lost World to come out. And so I just read the Lost World book, like wanting to almost cheat. Like I don't do this anymore. I don't know why I was doing it then. I did it with Lord of the Rings too. I like saw the first Lord of the Rings and I was like, I need to read all the books. Like I can't wait to find out what happens next. And I didn't even really like those books, but Jurassic Park, I remember really liking the book version of the Lost World and then being quite disappointed. Yeah, because it's really not that similar. Like there's like invisible dinosaurs and stuff in it. Like it's pretty cool. Like it's
that's interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing with the Jurassic Park book. It's more of like a thriller than like an action adventure. Like, yes, there's an adventure element because people do still get lost in the park. You know, things are still happening. But like it starts in a place where these mysterious things are happening. And you meet like Ellie Statler and all that kind of stuff when there's like a mystery happening, and then they're invited to the island, and then stuff happens. And it's all the same characters. And actually, one of the things I find interesting about the book, so I was, being on Twitter and, online and stuff. People, I saw this article about how, if people haven't read the book, they can't complain about the race of whoever's playing it in the movie. And they brought up Sam Jackson's character from Jurassic Park. And they're like, he's supposed to be white. I'm like, but actually in the book, how they describe people is more about their personality. They're like, I think he's described as an uptight chain smoker. That's it. Like, it's not, they're like, it's like a white guy with straight hair. No, they don't say anything like that. It's, and like Newman's character, for example, like the guy who causes all the trouble, they're just like, he's an overweight slob who thinks he's smarter than everyone else. Like, okay, like that's the descriptions. So but that's one thing I actually really like about it. So it's really easy for me to like still picture the people from the movie in it.
Yeah.
But then you're like, oh God, you're doing different things though, because oh my God, there are some deaths in this book that you're just like, oh God, they can't put that in movies. Like there's a part where like a dinosaur eats the eyes of a newborn baby, and I'm like, no, they can't put that in movies.
Yeah. I'm probably glad they left that out of those two. As much as I'm okay with that, the Pteranodon Mosasaurus secretary death, I think maybe eating a child's eyes is a little too much.
And their description of the dinosaurs are very different than the description of the dinosaur, like the dinosaurs that are presented in the movie. Like
I might have to listen to it. I think I have it on Audible. I think I bought it and just have never listened to it.
Listen to it. Also, the guy reading it, he's so good. So good.
Cool.
Because one of the things I found really interesting is that, so like, how people complain now when they're watching Jurassic Park? No, dinosaurs had feathers and they're like birds and blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
So in Jurassic Park the book, they don't have feathers, but they do continuously go back to like, are they actually reptiles or are they more birds? And like this concept comes up a lot. And like the physical descriptions of some of the dinosaurs, like the Dilophosaurus, the one that spits like the poison and stuff.
Yeah.
Different coloring, different description, all that kind of stuff, but it does the same thing. And one of the things I found really interesting in it is that they're like, yeah, we created them, but they move too fast. People aren't going to believe these are real dinosaurs because our history is like they're lumbering and they're slow because they're big. But no, even the big dinosaurs move very quickly, right? So they don't lumber. They're not like elephants that, move slowly. They're all like cheetahs and they're all like running about. And I was like, that's a really interesting way of changing that up. Okay. So I kind of would have been like interesting to see that in the movie and people complaining about like, are you sure they're real dinosaurs? I don't think these are real dinosaurs. That would have been interesting.
That is some of the cool stuff. Again, don't think they really get all the way into it. But in the more recent Jurassic Worlds where they do talk about the fact that these ones were genetically altered and they don't really represent real dinosaurs that well. Mm-hmm. And so the newest one does have a couple of dinosaurs in it that are maybe, I'm sure they're still Jurassic Parked up a little bit, but like that are like do have feathers and do maybe look a bit more like
bird-like.
What? Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
okay.
There's a couple of there's two specifically, and I think for me they're two of the best moments in the movie, like where these two dinosaurs appear because they look so different to anything else we've seen in the franchise. Like I say, it's still a lot of issues for the movie in my opinion, but those two dinosaurs, like they're cool. I'd like to see more of them, kind of going forward. So it is interesting to see how this kind of evolves obviously as our knowledge of dinosaurs will continue to evolve, that these movies will have to, if they want to keep continuing, will have to change even more. It's quite cool.
Jurassic Park still, keep getting our minds going even till today. And it's been what, 20, almost 30 years. Oh my God.
Yeah.
So
I read a movie-based book recently, and I don't read that many books these days. I even read it. I didn't even audiobook it. Like I read it in Word form. And I read. So one of my favorite movies is the movie The Ring. So both the American remake and the Japanese version, I like both of them quite a bit for kind of different reasons. And I read the book, and it's that like it's the same thing where it's the same story, but it's almost like it's a different genre. Like The Ring to me is horror, but this is almost like I don't know what you call it. It's almost like Contagion or something like that. Like it's like a thriller about viruses and stuff. It's like the story's largely the same, but it just has a completely different vibe to it. And I think maybe the movies actually work a little better. But I did. It was really interesting because I've loved those movies for a long time. So I finally got around to reading the book, and I'm like, oh wow, it is really different. Like it is. It would be interesting to see what they did if they had made this movie like this way, because they did because there were two books, and they actually originally released two movies in Japan. So the movie that we know now is the Japanese Ring, and its sequel Spiral. And Spiral was much closer to the book, is my understanding.
Okay.
It was pretty, and both those movies came out at the same time. Like, so you could go to the cinema and see both of them. And The Ring, people really loved, and Spiral, people didn't connect with it, and they didn't like it. And then Spiral is almost like forgotten to history now. Like The Ring, they just made a new sequel to The Ring 2, and ignored that the Spiral was ever a thing.
Do you think that's because? So you see The Ring and then you go into Spiral and you're like, this is what I'm expecting, as in like I'm expecting a straight horror movie, and what they got was a Contagion movie, and they're like, I mean, even if it's good, you're just like, but what is this, and
I've seen it, and it's also not that good, so I think that's also probably a big part of it. But I think that's exactly right. Like people connected with that first movie, and because there's even like actors that cross across to the sequel, and then they use some of those actors in The Ring 2 as well. So they like but they just ignore that Spiral is ever a thing. Like they just ignore the events of it and move on to the Ring 2 pretty quickly. And then I think it was mostly sort of forgotten to history. Like if you buy a box set with all the Ring movies in it, probably the Spiral might not be in it. Like it's
that's mean. Yeah.
I watched it once and I won't bother again. Like it's and all of the Ring sequels are kind of a bit hit and miss. But that one especially, it's just I think it's the worst thing that it can be. It's just very boring. Like there's just nothing to connect to in it, and it's just whereas that first movie, both the Japanese one especially, and then the American one, I think it goes in its own direction. But again, it knew what it wanted to be. Like it took one aspect of the movie, which is sort of the countdown and things are getting worse and scarier, and focused on that aspect, and it didn't worry so much about the bigger context of what happens when something passes from one person to another, and like the disease aspects of it, which is a big part of the book, which is
so
really
it's like
not in movies.
So yeah, I think some movies and some concepts suffer from that because like the writers and stuff try to put too much information, and you're just like, we don't need all this information, just do it. Just get on with it. And I think I mentioned this before, like the John Wick movies have this problem for me, whereas like the first movie was great. His wife's dead, then you killed his dog, he's gonna fuck you up. Great, love it, go for it, done. But every movie since, they're like, we want to explain these 35 things. Let's show you more and more and more. And I'm like, I don't need this. I just want him to shoot people in the face. Why is this so hard? Like, let's go.
Yeah. No, I think that's the big thing with the Ring movies that I notice is they're leaner. I guess they're just focused on. I think they picked out the best bit and they don't worry about all the other stuff. They just and it's not that they ignore that other stuff. They just don't make it a huge focus of the story. And I think that was the key thing. Sorry, I probably derailed things a bit, but when you were talking about the book changes for the movie. That was very much in my mind recently as I've been rewatching the movies and reading the book. So yeah.
Well, I actually, a lot of people complain that they're like, no, the books are always better than the movie. Yeah. And in a lot of cases that is true, but in quite a few cases, they're either on par or sometimes the movie is better than the book.
Depends what you connected with first as well. Like, because for me, the Lord of the Rings, like I read those books, I found them quite hard to get through, whereas I really liked the movies. So like I found the movies almost too dense, and I think it was a similar thing for me. Like they took the key interesting aspects of the book and put them on screen, and then they lost a lot of the fluff that was going around them.
Obviously you did not listen to the Lord of the Rings episode because I clearly disagree with all that you're saying.
Really? I haven't listened to the Lord of the Rings episode. I will go back to that one.
I did not read the books. I will not read the books. I do not like Lord of the Rings. I do not like The Hobbit. I
can understand why people wouldn't like them necessarily. But I think if you're into fantasy movies, I think they're pretty. I
love fantasy movies, but they're so boring. And you tell me that they took out all the fluff, and I'm like, there was more fluff than this?
There was a lot more fluff. And I know a lot of people are into the extended versions. Those ones for me, a bit too fluffy as well. Like I like the shorter theatrical versions myself. And again, probably that's going to turn a lot of people off of me because I know that's not a popular opinion. But So maybe a lot of the Rings fans are just not going to be fans of us. Really.
No, they're not. I tell you, after I put in that episode, probably a lot of people are just like, never listening to this again. She is wrong. Walks away. It's fine.
I like, though, that if you did an episode of Lord of the Rings, despite not liking them, you went and bought them.
Well, yeah. I mean, in the episode, I did explain why. Okay. Because I did the whole, I watched it for the 3 Christmases that came out. 1, 2, 3. After watching one of the movies, I was just like, well, it's a trilogy. We know it's a trilogy. Gotta watch the second one. It's gonna all come together. It'll be fine. And then I watched the end of the third one. I was like, fuck this shit. No. And then my friend talked me into getting the extended edition because it adds so much and it does things and blah, blah, blah. And at the time I was working for a bookstore, and you get these points as employees, like if you do good things, blah, blah, blah. And so I had a bunch of like money on this card so I can get it for free. I didn't actually pay for it myself. So I got them. And then I watched these extended editions and I was just like, you lied to me. I hate all of you. You guys suck. Oh my God. And then I never watched it again. And then I started a stupid podcast and then I had to watch them again. And if you listen to that episode, you will hear me bitch a long period of time that I was just like, I'm angry I watched this again. I'm so mad I had to watch this again. Oh my God. Like it's a whole thing.
I'm intrigued that I've missed it somehow because it's definitely one that if I'd seen it in the list, I feel like I would have clicked. Yeah. So it's on my to-do list now because I can definitely get why you wouldn't like it. Like I can understand that for sure. I like them. Like I'm not the world's biggest fan of them or anything, but like I mean, I guess I was when they were coming out. Like I got pretty into the hype of them around the cinema time.
Yeah,
because enough that I read the books, despite not really liking the books, and it being a fairly arduous thing to do.
Well, I remember my brother read The Hobbit when we were younger, and he was like, "You like this kind of thing? You should read it. It's really good." And I think I got 3 pages, and I was like, "No, I'm not doing this." And the same thing happened with the movie. I watched all 3 of the stupid Hobbit movies. Still mad about that too. And the first 20 minutes of that movie is just a bunch of dwarves singing. And I'm like, shut up and do your thing. Go outside, eat dinner, whatever. Just let's go. I was so frustrated. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Well, Lord of the Rings are like that, but turned up to 11.
I love fantasy stuff. Like, which one did I love Stardust. Watch The Witcher. Yeah,
true. Me too. Yeah.
The book is, I'm sorry. I know people love Neil Gaiman and everything, but every Neil Gaiman book I have read, I dislike his books. But they make good movies. No. I did try to watch Sandman. I got through 3 episodes and I was like, I can't do this. I can't do this anymore. No.
I need to go back to it. I watched the first episode and I really liked it. Really? But I had COVID and I just couldn't focus on something that dense. Mm-hmm. And I haven't got back to it yet. I think I will like it though. I think I will, but I can see where people don't connect with that stuff, and I can see why people do. Like I think it's just it's a taste thing, right? Like it's not
because people keep telling me like, no, you have to get to the part where like death shows up, and it's like episode 8, and I'm like, can I just skip to that episode? He's like, no, well, for you to understand how to get there, well, you have to watch. And I'm like, I don't have that much time. Like, yes, I mean, that's a lot. I have a lot of time on my hands right now, but still, no, I'm going to spend on something I'm going to enjoy.
Exactly. Life's ticking away. And why would you spend all your time watching something you know you're not going to like? Especially like when occasionally you're going to have to do it for your podcast anyway. Mm-hmm. So why would you compound that?
Yeah, there's definitely a few movies I am not looking forward to watching. One of them I've never actually watched all of, and one of them is one of those movies where I'm just like, it's a great movie, it's beautifully done, but it's so horrific that watching it once was more than enough. And I'm like, I don't need this in my life again, but I'm gonna have to watch it again. And I'm just like, not looking forward to it. Yeah. I'm not gonna spoil it for you. I'm not gonna tell you what they are.
I'm excited to find out. Yeah. Already in today's episode, find out shortly. I can't imagine any of these were horrific.
No. Also, the funny thing is, this episode, Napoleon Dynamite, National Lampoon, this will mark, we're in the second half of the alphabet officially.
Oh, I was going to ask you about this but now I get it. You just explained it. I was like, how are we doing Van Wilder? It starts with a V. I was so confused.
The official title is National Lampoon's Van Wilder.
Okay, so. That is because here, and this is what comes up on the screen as well. It is National Lampoon
Party Liaison.
Yes. Is that part of the title on like the cover of the disc and on the DVD?
It's not. No.
Yeah. No, I think it was here.
That Party Liaison thing comes up later on, like when they were distributing it to like other countries and stuff.
Yeah. Because I think it's Party Liaison here. Yeah, mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure. Because we seem to get this thing. I was talking to my wife about it when we were watching it, where it's like they think Australians are really, really dumb and that we can't work out, like, if it's just a person's name, we're not going to watch the movie or something. and it's like they're like Van Wilder doesn't mean anything. We need to know what the movie's about. Oh, we'll put party liaison on the bottom. Well, Van Wilder doesn't mean anything to people in North America either. Like it's
No.
like.
Well, I think that's why the National Lampoon is on there because everybody knows National Lampoon.
Yes,
and you'll go see it. Yes,
and it's like American Pie 3. So for you guys, it's called American Wedding. For us, it's called American Pie 3, The Wedding. And it's like, we can work it out. Like, we're not idiots. Like, this is the third movie in the franchise. Like, we know. I just don't get it.
I don't know. Sometimes it does have to do with like rights in different countries because so like in Australia there might be something that has a very similar name and it's to differentiate and all that kind of stuff. So
yeah, I think because there's an interesting one I think of. Are you familiar with the movie The Rundown?
Mm-hmm.
You know the movie Yeah, so
with The Rock and that renamed guy.
Sean William Scott,
yeah, there you go.
Like kind of a fun action-y thing. But here it's called Welcome to the Jungle, which I think is a much better title personally than The Rundown.
Isn't that a very different movie? Isn't that a wrestling movie?
No, so it's the movie The Rundown is called Welcome to the Jungle, but Jumanji 2, so The Rock Jumanji 2 is I think also called Welcome to the Jungle. So The Rock has actually been in 2 movies called Welcome to the Jungle.
Yes. The funny thing is, if you type in "Welcome to the Jungle," The Rundown and Jumanji 2 show up.
Yes, he's in both movies. I think that's pretty cool.
One he has hair.
Why? Like, I don't know why they changed the title of it. I think "Welcome to the Jungle" personally is a better title, and it's maybe the only time we've got the better title. But,
yeah.
Because the other one that popped up for us where it did go the other way is you guys have got The Road Warrior, where we've got Mad Max, and it's another one where it's like, oh, people here don't know what a Mad Max is, and it's like people in Australia didn't know what a Mad Max was. Like it's a thing. Yeah, I don't get it.
I'm trying to see, like, there are several things called The Rundown, including there's something called The Rundown from 2017. Apparently there's 14 episodes, and it's a TV series.
Okay.
It's an exclusive video series covering the things from the Predator movie franchise.
You wouldn't want people getting mixed up with that, would you?
No.
I'm sure that was a huge.
I don't know. This looks like a news show called Rundown. I don't know what that is.
I have no idea why they changed the title. Maybe it's something to do with the song title being licensed differently in different places. I'm not really too sure. But I always just thought it was really interesting. And then when I realized that The Rock started another movie that has Welcome to the Jungle in the title, I just was like, oh, that's very cool. Like
he's doing all the things in the jungle. That's all that's happening.
He loves the jungle.
But it's so weird when you watch The Rundown because it's like he has hair in it and stuff, and you're just like,
yes,
this just looks weird now. I don't know.
Yeah, it was very early Rock on film, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it was like such an enjoyable movie.
Yeah, I think it might be one of the best things he's done with myself. I think, I think I really like him, and I really like most things that I've seen him in. But I feel like a lot of things he's in are kind of average. Like the movies are they're not bad. They're just not anything special. But he's always good in them. Like
I think he's
Black Adam. Is average. He's good at it. Like he's good at what he does.
I think he represents Black Adam well.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that great of a movie.
Agreed. Yes.
But I think my problem with Black Adam is there's a bunch of scenes in that movie that if it was just slightly different, or if people actually thought of like logistics properly, they'd have been like, oh, we can't do that. Let's do this. And it would have been fine.
A big thing recently, because he came out and I don't really feel the need to like diss Black Adam or whatever, but people comparing the new Black Panther's success versus Black Adam's success. And he was like, come on, guys. Like, The Rock was like, it's not really fair. Like, we're a brand new film. And I was like, wait. This is Black Panther 2 is the second in the Black Panther series in a connected universe. Black Adam is the second in the Shazam series in a connected universe. Like, the fact that they chose to ignore a lot of the Shazam aspects of it is, I think, maybe points to their bad decision making and some of those things. But these movies should be pretty comparable. It's not like Black Panther was like a well-known name
when it came out. No.
No, like Black Panther, they built that. Like they built that, and really, Shazam and Black Adam could be that. Like if they did more with it, like it was like they have literally the same origin, but they never mentioned Shazam in the whole movie. Like it's just like such a weird.
Which they should have. Yes.
Yes. Yeah, and they talk about other superheroes. Like people are aware of superheroes. It's not like Shazam's this unknown guy in that world, we would assume. Like it's just a really weird choice.
I mean, they keep talking about Superman, and then there's like the Superman appearance at the end, but I'm like,
yeah,
this is a world where they know there are other superheroes, right? They
Yes.
know there are other villains. They know because Amanda Waller is the one who sends like Dr. Fate in and stuff to like stop him or whatever. I don't understand why she's in control of doing that in this specific case, but at the same time, I'm just like, but why is no one else mentioned in this? Why are they why are you not properly connecting your world except for her coming in the beginning and then the Superman cameo at the end? Like why where's the in-between stuff?
Exactly. You've got a character like this kid that's clearly a superhero fan. Like he's got superhero posters all over his walls. He never mentions the fact that like there's this other superhero called Shazam that is exactly like you. Like has all the same powers, has the same costume in a different color, like has
like, sorry, they do show Jaimin Hunsu as one of the gods that give him the power. They do show that. Yes.
Yeah, but and I think that's good. Like at least they did that. But to me, it's just, and I get that Shazam has a completely different tone and whatever, but I don't think you can complain that you're a new unknown character when you are like you're the second Shazam movie, whether you like it or not, and you kind of are like.
Yeah, but I also think it's more that I don't even think it's about being a second Shazam movie or being part of a universe. I mean, if you create, first of all, you have a A-list actor as the lead, you have a ridiculous amount of advertising budget, you have apparently created the shit out of this movie. People should want to watch it. People should want to go and look at it. You have DC fans out there that are obsessed with that universe that he is being put into. People should be watching it. There's a reason the numbers are a little low.
Yeah. I went and saw it because I was at work and I was away for work and I needed something to do. Like normally I would be there opening day for these movies. Like, but I was just like, oh, I'll see it. Like, and then I saw it and it was like, that's exactly what I expected it to be. Like it was like I didn't hate it. It was just like it just kind of washed over me and it was done and I don't think I'll watch it again. Like
and this is my problem with some of these movies. Like it's true. I don't hate the movie. But it's just so midline that when it was done, I was like, all right, like sure. Let's continue with our day. You know, I mean, I can also sit here and bitch like crazy about Thor: Love and Thunder. I'm going to bring it to Marvel as well. They also have made bad movies. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, that one was horrendous. I don't know what they were doing.
I don't think I hate it as much as you, but I do. I also think it's one of the weakest ones they've done in a while.
I tried so hard. Like, I understand he needed a focus at the end. That's why he has the kid now, quote unquote kid now or whatever. But you have somebody called the God Killer and you don't see him kill any gods. Because they were like, no, we wanted to make it lighter. I'm like, but why can't you have light and dark in there? That would be fine. Yes. And they're just like,
I think it was actually at its best when they did. Like, so the stuff with the loss of his daughter was really sad.
It was so good. Then, so good.
And then it was contrasted with that weird god, like that was really flippant about it. I think that actually worked quite well.
Very well.
It just then it didn't really have too much of the dark stuff, and it was at its best when it did. Like, because Christian Bale was phenomenal. Like he was scary, but he just didn't get, like, say, he didn't have.
I feel like I feel like they cut out half of his parts, to be honest. Like, because I read a thing where people were just like, apparently, like, they were on set, they were nervous around him because he was creepy as hell. And I'm like, but that's what he's supposed to do, you know?
I think it was very much and it's not a free pass for any of these movies. Black Adam, for this, it was definitely a COVID produced movie, and I think that hurt a lot of those movies.
Oh, definitely.
Just, like, it must be it's so hard just to make them, like, let alone get to the end and realize, oh, we've missed this bit, but we can't get this guy back because, like, they can't come back to the country, because, like, that one was filmed here too. So, like, they were bringing a lot of these actors to Australia, and then that we had different COVID laws to other places, and, like, it must have been a real all of these movies a real challenge to do it. But then Spider-Man No Way Home, I think, nailed it, and like half that movie has people that aren't even in the same room. Like, they just copy and pasted them all in together. So it can be done. It's just, I mean, I think that maybe has hurt some of these movies in these recent times a little bit. But yeah, you're totally right. Like, it was a weak movie. I enjoyed it, I think, more than you did, but it was weak. Like, it was weak. And I like some of the cancer stuff, like, personally connected to me a little bit, and stuff like that. But they just, I don't know. There just wasn't enough. There was something missing. Well, like, there was something pretty big missing. Like,
well, because there wasn't really. I feel like they didn't focus on, like, the character development side of it. Like, it was just suddenly everything was different, and you're just like, no, why is it suddenly different? Because a lot of people I know complained about the whole cancer storyline. And they're just like, but that doesn't make any sense. I'm like, but it was in the comics. It was like a 1.5 year story. They took the time to explain her sickness and all this kind of stuff and what it does and whatever.
I think they set that up pretty well too. Like the explanation for it and stuff. Like, it's just, I don't know. It just like was a series of events, right? Like, there wasn't really a through, and there was some, like, I thought there were some really funny moments. I think some of it might have lent a bit too hard into a very specific kind of humor that I don't think always translates well outside of Australia and New Zealand as well. So potentially that's why I think some people don't connect with it. Like, I think maybe they did go a little bit too far that way, but then at the same time, things like Hunt for the Wilder People are popular outside of, and that's like,
a great
that's
movie.
even more New Zealandy. So I don't know. I don't think that explains it either. Like,
what's Taika Waititi's first movie, the Whale and Shark or whatever, where they go to the house?
Shark.
Yeah, love that movie. Love that movie. You know,
I think that doesn't explain it. Like, there's more going on. Like, there were more problems with it than that. It's just, I don't know. I agree.
Well, and one of the other things I read about it is like, oh my God, can you believe that, like, 60% of the dialogue in this movie was ad lib? And I'm like, yeah, you can. You can tell.
Yeah.
You can,
you
can hear it.
Yeah. And some of it was great. And some of the editing then I think was a bit of a problem too. Like, it was a bit like, I think when you do that can be really cool, but you need to edit it really nicely to make it all work together. And I don't think it always did. I did watch, and I don't know if at some point we probably should talk about Van Wilder and Napoleon Dynamite, but I did watch the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special last night.
Oh, I haven't watched it yet. Yeah,
I won't talk about anything in it, but it was so beautiful and so fun and so, like, it's what I think Thor: Love and Thunder maybe wanted to be a little bit, and I feel like it because I think Ragnarok was largely successful. Like, its lighter tone worked, and I think maybe I don't know what went wrong with Thor: Love and Thunder. It just doesn't. It doesn't.
I also think Ragnarok had a much simpler story. They're like, oh, Thor is here, and now he's a gladiator, and he's going to beat things up, and then they're going to leave. That was literally 90% of the story.
Yes.
Whereas this was just like, oh, you know, there's a god killer, and a thing dies, and then she's got cancer, and then she's now king, and they're doing this thing, and he's running away, and the Guardians are there, and they're like, go away, we don't like you, and like a daughter. There was just too much all over the place.
I think that's a really good description, because largely, like, I think the cast do a good job. I think everyone's pretty well. Like, I like all the individual aspects, but then it just doesn't work as a cohesive whole. Like, I think as it's just a really messy movie, and it's not. Yeah, I don't know. It's sad. It's too bad. I mean, but yeah, Guardians Holiday Special. 45 minutes, just so, like, watch it. It's so good.
Okay, I will watch. I still haven't watched the last episode of Andor's yet, so I gotta watch that.
I haven't watched any of Andor yet, and I need to get on board.
I really like it.
I'm not a big Star Wars guy, so I always like tend to just kind of wait a little bit with them. And like I got really into The Mandalorian. I like Star Wars, but I'm not like a mega fan. Like I'll watch things. But the Andor stuff has been interesting because I've seen like a lot of people love it, and then a lot of also criticism. But that criticism actually sounds like stuff that I would like. So I'm like, I think I'll enjoy it. And typically, I tend to like a lot of the Star Wars stuff that isn't the central stuff. I tend to like some of the more adjacent stuff. So I'm excited to watch it. It's definitely on my list. Check it out.
Yeah, I mean, I know I talk about Star Trek all the time on this thing, but I do love my Star Wars, but I'm very bad with like planet names and species names and all that kind of stuff. That's been taken over by the Star Trek stuff. I'm sorry, that's what's in here. But yeah, the Star Wars stuff, I'm like, oh, pew, pew, they're shooting things and yay, that's fine.
I did watch Obi-Wan Kenobi with my son, and for a long time, he's only just recently found out Star Wars is what it's called. He was just calling it Obi. That's why he's called everything Star Wars related for a while. And I quite enjoyed that. It was a bit of fun. I enjoyed a lot more. I enjoyed a lot more than I enjoyed those movies that had him in it. So
yeah, that's fine. I mean, I'm not defending any of them. It's okay.
Again, I know a lot of people like them, and that's fine, but they're awful.
And people just turned this off. Okay.
I'm sorry. They're not awful. I like pod racing.
It's all fine. It's all fine. Yeah, that was a very long detour into stuff, I suppose. Yes.
Yeah. 100 episodes. There's a lot to
there's a lot to talk about. We went into some things. I mean, we haven't hit Star Wars yet, sadly.
Yeah,
but
and I don't know how much we're going to have to talk about with these movies anyway. I'm interested to see.
Well, this is my problem, and why I apologized to you at the beginning of this episode. I was just like, I'm so sorry I made you watch these movies because, damn. Okay. I'm 98% sure both of these movies I got in a discount bin at some point.
Okay.
I do not Napoleon Dynamite for sure. I know I didn't like pay to see it in the theater before I got home. Yeah. I am not 100% sure about Van Wilder because I know like over the years my humor has definitely changed quite a bit and what I think is funny and not and stuff because most of Van Wilder is just offensive. Will
we start with Van Wilder? Is that a good place to start? Or?
I honestly don't know where to start with this because initially yesterday when I was watching Van Wilder, I was thinking I'm just like, look, I'm going to say 3 lines and we can skip it. We'll go to Napoleon Dynamite. That was my initial plan. And then I watched Napoleon Dynamite today and I'm just like, I don't even know what to talk about in here either. So I
watched Van Wilder last night, so it's fresh in my mind. So I think that's a good place to start. And Van Wilder was one that I have seen it when it came out and I haven't seen it since. And it's pretty much what I remembered it being. Like one of those teen movies that came out around the time of American Pie and wasn't as good as American Pie. But I don't know. Watching it now, it was interesting to watch now just to see where some of the actors have gone and things like that. Like, I think Ryan Reynolds is one of the better things about the movie, but
he's still got the same personality, the same kind of like upbeatness, you know? Yeah.
But he's also like comes across as like dollar store Ferris Bueller. Like that. Like that's what like every part of the movie just reminded me of other movies that I like better. And like the soundtrack, it's like an American Pie soundtrack, only not with bands that weren't quite as big. And and like I feel like I don't know if there's a lot of stuff that's offensive by today's standards. The Indian guy,
Penn,
like, I was funny though. Like he's just
He's
Like
a
it's not
funny
him.
guy. Yeah. I was watching it and I was just like, look, at least they got an actual Indian guy to do it. Is Calvin actually Indian or is he like
I'm not 100% sure on that.
a person who is let me hold on.
I believe he's from that area of Asia. I'm not sure.
No, he was born in New Jersey.
Oh, okay.
And his parents came from India. It's fine.
Yeah,
It's fine.
okay,
He's Indian.
cool.
Okay, it's fine.
Yeah.
So at least they got like an actual Indian guy to do this horrible stereotype, right? So he was like, you know what? I'm gonna get paid for it. Let's do this. Let's fine. I'll put on the accent, whatever. Good. Okay, fine. But at the same time, like, is he proud of that still? Or is he really just like, is it one of those things he's like, he looks back and he's like, I really should not have done that.
So this came up because I watched it with my wife, and to be honest, we spent most of the time talking about the movie more than we spent watching the movie. But she was saying that she recently saw an interview with him where people asked him about that, and he said he didn't really feel. He said it was a job, and he didn't feel bad about it because that was what was funny at the time. And like I think to an extent he thought it was funny at the time, and he wouldn't do it now. but it was what it was, and I guess it kind of started his career off in a lot of ways.
I mean,
well. So, but yeah, that I thought that was quite, to me, it felt like quite a mature way of looking at it, like that it was of its time, and it very much is of a certain time. I mean, I was impressed that there wasn't more homophobia in it. There used to be a lot of that in teen movies. And
that is very true.
Much of that in this.
There was two things right at the beginning when they were doing the interviews where they made they were like creeped out by like the trans person and like the two gay guys making all the sex jokes.
Yes.
But that was like 95% of it. So I was like, okay, that's not okay, but you know,
that was very much a thing of that time as well. Like as a like guy that was in that right age bracket for a lot of these movies at the time, it was very much a thing in our culture, unfortunately, at the time as well. And there were certain things in it that I'm sure I would have found funnier back then than I did watching it now. But yeah, overall, like I just it just washed over. Like it just felt like a worse version of all these other movies. Like, and some of these movies that is a worse version of things like Road Trip, which aren't that great to begin with anyway. Like, but it just felt like just. I remember at the time thinking that was fine. Like it's like all these other movies, but not as good. And this time I felt that even more so. Like I recently rewatched a lot of the American Pie films, and there is some problematic stuff in there, but largely they hold up. And like I think they're still pretty good films, and then watching this in comparison, which I feel like is the other end of that early 2000s teen movie spectrum, it doesn't hold up. Like
it up at all. Yeah,
it doesn't hold up. It just the one, like to me, if you think about something like an American Pie or Road Trip or any of those things, there's those iconic gags, those iconic pranks, those iconic things, and I think there's only one of those that to me is really iconic. It is literally the only thing I can remember about this movie watching it, and that was the cream cake sequence.
Hold on. Yeah, I agree with you. Yes, I remember that scene was coming up, but as I was watching it, I literally had to stop looking at the screen because it was making me gag. Like I was like, no, I can't. I couldn't.
Revolting. It is so
revolting.
But I think that's where. Like that's what that movie kind of needed as well. Like it needed to be, because without that, it's just so bland. Like it's so nothing, and it's just like, and it is very much one of those movies where there's not really a strong story going through it. It's more a series of like sketches almost, and most of those sketches aren't very good. It's like, oh, Tara Reid's good at ice hockey, and she's just like. But it's not that funny. It's like, oh, okay. Like, it's just like, cool.
Well, like, So I have a few issues with Tara Reid being in this movie. Is that it is not her looks that's the issue, but she is not believable as a quote unquote serious journalist. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, no, she's not pulling it off. She's not coming across as like sweet or manipulative or whatever. No. And then also with that, like whoever did her makeup and costume design, like I know it's very much of that time period, but at the same time, it's all wrong. All of it is wrong. And it was just making me angry. I was like, what are you doing?
I'm just going to mention now that my wife's name is Sally because you know Sally, I know Sally, and it feels weird for me to keep calling her my wife. But I feel like she's going to come up a bit in this conversation. But Sally said exactly the same things.
Oh,
like
okay.
exactly what you just said. Like, so it's definitely definitely a thing. And she was coming off of American Pie, and she's kind of playing a similar character to American Pie, but just like again worse, like just like a worse version of it. And it's not like it wasn't that believable for her in American Pie, but in this, like that
it was even worse.
Like we knew, like people knew her more, and it was just like, oh, yeah, everything. The cream pie sequence, like the cream cake sequence, where I mean, we can spoil it for the audience, right? Where
look, the movie's 20 years old. Just go ahead.
They jerk off a bulldog into cream cakes and then get their rivals to eat them, and they eat them in quite detailed ways to the point one guy's like pouring the cream from his mouth from the cake into his mouth and like gargling it. I think that was pretty good. Like I do think that joke was pretty good.
The funniest part about that scene is there's off camera, you hear a voice go, I think I've had this before. And I think that's really, really funny. So, but
I think outside of that, though, I really didn't find a lot to laugh at. Like, I recognized that, like, how often we were getting distracted and just, like, sitting there for long periods being like, this is a comedy, like, and this should, like, we should be laughing a lot and heartily at this movie. And even recognizing that some of it might date and not be so good now, just, I don't feel like it was that good back then. Like, it was just weak. I like that they got the guy from the Breakfast Club to come back as the teacher.
Oh, as the teacher, and then you have
that was cool.
What is it? Booger from Revenge of the Nerds was the security guard.
Yeah, yes. And, Revenge of the Nerds. Was he in Police Academy as well? I was thinking Police Academy.
Yes, I think he was in Police Academy. Yeah,
I think so. Like there were a lot of decent people in it, and
the guy who plays Howard Wolowitz from The Big Bang Theory is in it too. He's one of the nerds.
Oh yeah, we did
the Jewish nerds.
Him and Aaron Paul really, really briefly.
Yes, he shows up twice.
The guy who I don't think I've ever seen in anything since their rival kind of frat guy.
Yeah, I don't remember him from anything.
And he was just like so unlikable for the whole movie, and I felt like he was a Stifler impression. Like he was this kind of Stifler impression, but Stifler, I think, with the thing with him is he's grotesque, but he's also kind of likable. Like you have a friend that was like him, or you kind of know someone that was a bit of a dick like that. But there's still elements of him that are charming, I think. But this guy, there was nothing charming at all. He was just.
Oh, you're talking about Stifler was slightly charming. Okay,
Stifler, I think has some redeeming qualities. Whereas this guy just had nothing redeeming. Like he was just like the word. He even looks like Stifler and does the same face things that Stifler does, but he just has nothing appealing about him. Like, why is Tara Reid ever with him? Like, he's so horrible. Like,
right? So, like, I spent the whole movie, I'm like, even before you met somebody, quote unquote, better, you would have noticed this guy was an asshole. Like, why would you have stayed in this relationship? It's not helping you anyway. Obviously, he doesn't agree with whatever you're doing. And you're a journalist person and he's going to be a quote unquote doctor of some sort. Walk away. You could have been out of that a long time ago. I don't get it.
He was such an unlikable character. And I think that was the problem, because then there's nothing like, we're never going to, we want Van Wilder to win anyway. Like, so why are we, I don't know. It was just so many things, like other jokes that didn't land for me. It's like, oh, there's a fat guy and he's going to do a bomb off the thing. And it's like, that could be funny potentially, but the way it's filmed isn't very funny. Like it's like they don't show all the water coming out of the pool or anything. Like if you're going to do that joke.
What they did was while he's in the water, they did like the whale sounds.
Yes.
And I was just like, really? Yeah. Is that what we're doing? Okay.
It just seems so weak. Like if you're going to, like, I don't think that, and I think it's another one by today's standards, probably you just wouldn't do it. But if you're going to do the joke of the fat guy jumping into the pool, like, like make it big, make it big and
Yeah,
exciting.
you gotta
I
have
don't
to
know,
like
just
have the scene where like everybody's in the stands and they all get wet or something. Like
exactly, yeah. Like where was that? Like that shot is like it's a no-brainer. Like,
like come on, guys.
but no, they just film it from like a wide angle, and this
Yeah.
fat guy just jumps off a diving board, like in real life. Like, okay,
Okay.
that's not really that funny. Like,
Yeah. So there is one scene I had. Actually, no. There's a couple of other scenes I had a real problem with, but I'm mad that I skipped over this because you talked about like the homophobia and stuff already.
yes,
But there's the scene where the dad shows up at the school and they're having like the pajama party, but the guys are dressed up in like women's lingerie and the girls are dressed up like dudes or whatever.
yeah.
And when he shows up, he opens the door.
Happened.
Yeah. So the dad shows up and they're like, "Oh, your son's over here." And he opens a door and you see Van Wilder. He's in this like red negligee with like lipstick on. And the dad says, "Oh my God, he's a fairy." And then he's like, then a girl comes in. He's like, "Oh, phew." He says she's not gay. And I was like, "Wait, what? Like,
I
what?"
must have zoned out for that bit because I don't remember that. But yeah. That's
It
kind of what I
was-
was expecting.
Yeah, like it was striking to me. I'm just like you already don't care about your son. You don't really like your son.
Yeah.
And now you're finding something like, I think if it turned out he was gay, he would have been like, "I'm disowning you, never coming back, get out, blah, blah, blah." Like, and I was just like, it was really the few that like the woo, he's not gay thing. That was just like, oh my God. Like,
I think because one of the last times we chatted, we talked about Ladies Man, and there's a similar kind of just like it's just I think homophobic humor. Like it's not even gay humor really. It's just it's humor about the people might think you're a gay guy, or humor that like I'm definitely not gay. I just like wrestling guys, or that being gay is like the worst thing to be, and for like a young guy, and it's just like I'm so glad we've evolved past that at this point.
Yes.
Like, and the fact that
some of us
we noticed, well, I think largely as a world, hopefully, I'm trying to be optimistic. We are moving past that. Certainly, we're not seeing that in comedies like this, really, like we did, like because that was prevalent, like in all of these kinds of movies back then, even movies that weren't comedies and stuff. Like I can think of, I'm trying to think of an example, but there's something I watched recently, and I was just like, that seemed really unnecessary. Like I don't even know why that was in the movie. Like, and it was a similar thing where it's like just two guys being like, but we're not gay. Like, and it's just like, who cares? It's just such a, and I get it because I lived in that period of time, and I could recognize that being a gay guy back then was not an easy thing to be. And so that, like, to an extent, I get why people didn't want to be seen that way, because that could mean a lot of not nice things for your life. But I'm just glad that we're not doing that anymore. Like,
it just seems so unnecessary and like pointless. It does. Like, you know,
and mean now, like very obviously just mean. Like, it's not funny. Like, it's funny. It's just funny at the expense of others for no reason. Like,
it really makes me just want to think, like, what do you mean exactly? You know, like, like you want to like question it so that they question their own morals and their own thoughts, kind of thing.
Yes.
Like drill it into them. Like, what do you mean by this? You know, it's like when people say stuff like, "Oh, I don't want to be one of those people." What does that mean? What kind of people are you talking about specifically? You know, it's like, like, no,
and
it's so unnecessary.
To see. And I mean, anything like these teen comedies would try to be edgy and stuff as well. So I do get that they're on the forefront of that sort of stuff to an extent. Like I watched, I think it was Meatballs or something, one of those kind of levels of movies like a couple of years ago. And there's that's obviously like a couple of decades even before these. And like there's a sexual assault in that movie that's played for laughs. Like it's just like, oh my God. Like, and that one I remember thinking, like, just being really just shocked that was ever something people were thinking was funny.
Well, like, even if you think of like Revenge of the Nerds and stuff, they sexual assault a lot of people in that movie, and they're like, it's a joke, we're getting revenge on people. I'm just like, you just raped somebody. How is this funny?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And so I think at least with something like Van Wilder, I think it shows that there was some evolution in that period of time, and hopefully that's heartening that we're going to continue to evolve past what was in this.
Yeah, but
too.
there was definitely still a couple of things that were just like wrong in this one. Like there's like Tara Reid, she's the reporter and whatever, and she wants to do serious journalism, and they're like, no, do this. And she's like, look, I don't want to do this. I'm being sexually harassed by my subject. I don't want to do this anymore. He doesn't even want to answer my questions. And her boss is essentially like, you know, just use what you got to use to get this story. And you're just like,
that hasn't aged super well, has it?
No, you're like, that's not right. Like, what is wrong with you?
With some of the things that you're saying, I realized how little attention I was paying. And I wasn't trying to not pay attention, but like, there are a couple of these moments that I just missed. Like, and not because I thought they were okay. I think I just wasn't paying attention to the movie.
To be honest, that's very understandable.
It's a worry when the least controversial thing is some guys wanking off a dog.
Yes.
But I don't know. I don't really have a lot more to say about it. Like, I feel like it's just one of those movies of its time. It was very much try to follow in the footsteps of your American Pies, your Euro trips, your road trips.
Yeah, it's the body teen comedy or whatever.
Yeah, but it was the dollar store end of that spectrum. Like it didn't really have. Like I say, it's got a decent cast. I just don't know. It doesn't have that special something that some of those other movies did have. I
find a lot of those movies had like a little bit of a heart to it, or like you actually liked more of the characters. I
think American Pie, that's a very key difference between this and American Pie. Like those characters, even when they're doing things that are even a bit problematic in some parts, but even just things that are gross or weird or uncomfortable, you kind of like them. You're kind of rooting for them a little bit. And I didn't really feel like I was, even Van Wilder, like I like Reynolds, I didn't really feel like I was rooting for him that much. I just felt like I didn't really care, like what happened to anyone. It was
I think he, unlike, like, I know Ferris Bueller is not the greatest person. If you think about it too hard, he is kind of a dick, but at least he's very charming. And usually I would agree, Ryan Reynolds is very charming, but this character specifically, I was just like, I don't know why people like you that much. You're not that great. You're not as charming as you think you are. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. And he was very much that Ferris Bueller stereotype of, I'm going to go in there and fix this, like the basketball team.
And everybody likes me.
There's another problematic bit, the deaf coach. I found that. It's just like,
it was unnecessary.
Like why? I mean, I guess it's just an excuse for him to be able to go and give his speech and no one, like the coach not notice. But it was just so bad. Like it was not funny.
But also if he knows everybody and is that likable, I would think he'd be able to walk to the coach and be like, Coach, I got a speech for you, and he'd be like, "Oh yeah, just get them going." Like
would have probably been funnier, than him going kind of just behind his back and doing it. Like I think that would have been a funnier moment, and maybe set up his character better as what he is. Like because even the teacher that doesn't like him kind of respects him. We find out at the end, and it doesn't feel very earned. Like it
doesn't. Not at all.
It just feels like that's what was in the script.
Yeah.
Like
because instead of at the end when he says he respects him, like you find out that he was in his class before and he was very smart and just stopped going. We get it. Yeah. But earlier on, when they were like arguing with each other or whatever, it should have been like, why don't you get back in class or whatever? Finish that.
Set it up.
Something. Just set it up so that it gets there, you know?
Yeah.
And then that would have just made it make more sense.
And they were kind of rivals, but that was barely played up. Like he parked in his parking spot. And then outside of that, really they didn't really go up against each other much. Like it was it was like he was supposed to be the foil, but then they didn't do anything with that. And it seems like maybe they should have picked one villain, like either have him be the villain or have the frat guy be the villain, not both.
Yes.
Because he didn't really work. Yeah, I don't know. Nothing really worked.
Yeah. And I think I think that's the key. Like we've hit it. Nothing really worked is what the problem was. Like they didn't, I think they had too many ideas, filmed a bunch of stuff and they're like, I guess we can cut this one, put this one in here, maybe move this, like I think that's the kind of thing that happened. And then it just didn't mesh well.
Yeah.
I do have one thing, because I know you didn't watch the DVD for this, but I have the DVD.
Yeah, I couldn't track one down. I don't own that one.
That's just fine. You don't need to spend more money on this. It's fine. And I rarely talk about this, but I have a real issue with the menu selection for this DVD. The menu selection is literally a girl in a white t-shirt that's clearly slightly damp and she has no bra on because her nipples show through it. And every time you select something, she takes off her shirt and puts on a new shirt. Now, I was just like...
It sounds funnier than I'm sure it actually was.
No, it just looks offensive, essentially.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, but the thing
I'm more laughing at the concept, I think.
Well, exactly, right?
Yeah.
So in the menu, though, when she takes off her shirt, a big black sensor thing comes across her shirt, which I was very happy about. Fine with. But then I was looking at the back of the DVD. There is a special feature where you can get that removed. And I was like, nope. This is no. I'm like, I understand this is for 15 and 16-year-old boys. I get it.
Yeah.
But that's offensive. Like, it's flat out just wrong.
Yeah. And it's not really that indicative of the movie. Like, there wasn't a lot of nudity in it. There was a little bit, but it wasn't that much. Like, it's not really. Yeah, it seems weird.
There was a lot of sexual innuendo. Yes. I think you see boobs like twice in it, but it's not like a nudie body comedy where every 2 seconds somebody has their shirt off or whatever. No, it's not like that. It's just like two random scenes where you would expect people to have their shirt off. Like there was one in like there's like a strip club and they were gonna have sex, and you're like, it's 3 seconds, whatever, But it's just like that's extra. Like I don't,
because in other movies I could see that you'd be like, oh, that's a big part of it. Like we're leading into that nudity stuff. But really, there's not much in the movie. Like it is a really weird choice.
Yeah, and honestly, that was more offensive than the rest of the movie.
Yeah, most of the movie was just boring. I thought, I think, it just wasn't. It wasn't terrible. Like I recently watched Eat, Pray, Love, and I found that very hard to watch. Whereas this was like just one of those things where it was odd, and we just talked over it the whole time. Like it
background
was
noise,
just,
yeah.
It didn't do anything. You'd watch the screen. There was the one scene with the cream puffs that I laughed heartily at. And then otherwise just kind of like I got my phone out, and I hate doing that in movies. Like at one point I realized I was on my phone. I'm like, I'm supposed to be watching this for like a podcast to talk about it. Like I shouldn't be on my phone, but man, this is just dragging. Like
Well, I had that with both of these movies. Like it was very like on my phone, like put your phone down. Just put it down. And then 5 minutes later, I'm like, wait, I'm looking at my phone again. Put your phone down. Like it was just.
So Napoleon Dynamite, when I saw these two movies, Napoleon Dynamite was the one that made me want to do the episode. Mm-hmm. And there was a part of me that when I got to, because I do have this one on DVD, there's a part of me that was like, do I really want to watch this again? Like, am I going to, because I really liked this movie previously. And I was a bit worried that it was going to suck. And I kind of liked it. I kind of still like it. Yeah, okay. I kind of really quite liked it.
No, I do remember when I bought this movie, I was home by myself. I put it on. I watched the movie, and literally the movie finished, and my brother and his friend came home, and they're like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm watching Napoleon Dynamite." He's like, "Oh, can we watch it?" I was like, "Yeah, okay." And I put it back in, watched it again, because I don't know why. I honestly, after this rewatch, I have no idea why I would have said yes to this. But after watching it today, the only thing I can come up with, I don't think I would have thought it was that good, but I think it would have been more to figure out, like, what is this?
Yeah.
It's like
So I also watched this one with Sally, and we did have a conversation afterwards. Like, how did this movie come to exist? Like, who made it? How did these actors come on board for it? In some cases, like, just yeah. I think I have a lot of nostalgia for this movie. Like, I really liked it when I first saw it. Like,
mhm.
and I think that's why I still enjoyed it a lot, because it was just reminding me of, like Sally said to me, you've got to stop saying I forgot about this bit, because I'd be like, oh, I forgot about this bit, and like I was, because going into it, there were like a couple of things that I remembered, like the "Tina, you fat lard," as he's like feeding the alpaca, and it's just
Yeah.
like stupid stuff like that I remember, and still like say things like that all the time.
Mhm.
And there are a few things like that I remembered, but I didn't remember very much of this movie prior to watching it, and I think there was just that real nostalgia thing of, I remember being like, probably, I don't know, when did this movie come out? Like,
2004.
okay, so yeah, I was probably like, I would have still been, I guess, at uni, and just watching this movie with some friends, probably having a few drinks and just laughing at this real weird, strange, awkward thing that existed, and that I don't know how the movie ever got made. Like, it just seems like such an odd
Well,
thing.
I think it's what was the logo at the beginning? It was like Fox Searchlight
It's
or
Fox
whatever.
Searchlight. Yeah, the
Yeah, which
indie
is
kinda.
which is their indie company, which means it's somebody who had a script and was just like, oh, look, I just need a little bit of money to make this. I just
Can
need a
you
little bit of
imagine
money.
though, like showing someone that script? Like,
No.
what the heck? You would just be looking at it being like, what is this? Like, what? Because so much of what makes it funny is the delivery and the costuming and the things that go with it. Without that, I just don't know how, like, as a script, anyone would read it and be like, we want to make this.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't, like, there's nothing actively funny in it. Like, it's
No, I
nothing, there's
feel
no real jokes.
yeah.
They're just like awkward. It's like a lot of awkward cringe type of stuff, and it's kind of wholesome, and it's just like it's weird.
Well, okay, so one thing I did kind of find interesting about the movie was the fact that they did manage, like, all of the scenes that are in school that is not specifically Napoleon Dynamite's awkwardness, but
Yes,
they really captured the oddness of being in high school really well.
yes,
Like how
yeah,
uncomfortable it can be. Like, even like, you know, that scene where they're sitting in class and the whatever the whatever hands people, and they're doing like that weird
yes, yeah,
thing for like a presentation or whatever. And you had to sit through those things all of the time in high school
yeah,
and stuff like that. And like, to us, that was quote unquote normal. But watching back at it, you're just like, that really was how it was. That's
yeah.
so
And that made
weird.
me,
Like,
and I think that sometimes where the laughter is coming from, like, I could relate to a lot of these things, despite the fact that it seems in many ways really unrelatable. Like, it was, we commented that the kids, despite some of them being really weirdly old people, but that, like, the kids looked like actual kids, not like movie stars. Like,
yes. Yeah.
they all look like people that you might, apart from the actual actors in the movie, they looked like people you would just expect to see at a school. Like,
Mhm.
and the clothing and stuff was just really average looking for those characters. Like, they weren't, the school looked just kind of mediocre, and like, it wasn't like your typical movie school, but it also wasn't like played that it was really crap for laughs. It was just
Mhm.
sort of like a
An
mediocre
average
average
school.
school.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I liked so many of those, I think, elements in it quite a lot. And
Mhm.
even just the things like where they're giving each other notes to like go on dates, and it's like it says yes or no, and there's like all this build up to what it's gonna say, and then they don't want to tell each other because, like, he finds out for his mate and he doesn't want to tell him that they've said no, and it's
Yeah.
just it's like, I love that, and I really like that kind of humor where it's uncomfortable and it makes you cringe a little bit. Not
Mhm.
cringe because it's bad, but cringe because you feel uncomfortable along with the characters. Like, I really like that style of humor, and I know that doesn't appeal to everyone,
Yeah.
but there's a lot of that in this, I feel like, where
Well,
you're just
especially with
feeling bad for
um
them.
especially with the uncle Rico, he's a very
Yeah.
unlikable character.
Oh,
But
definitely.
he's also he's sad in all of the iterations of definition
Yeah.
of the word.
Yeah.
Like,
you almost feel more sorry for him that he's
Yeah.
like that. Then like Van Wilder, the frat guy, just he's a real jerk and he's not likable. Uncle Rico, not likable, but I feel bad that he's that way, and I kind of
Mhm.
know people like that.
Yeah,
If
'cause-
that makes sense. Like,
like I feel like because he's obsessed with football and his gone
82.
football career and stuff. Yeah. And all I can think of is like, what happened to you that you're just so stuck on that
Yeah.
moment that
Yeah.
even now where you're clearly like 45, you're still in a field living out of your truck throwing footballs at a camcorder. Like,
Yeah.
what is wrong with you?
And
You
so
know?
many of those things, like in this movie, they kind of allude to it a little bit with him, but most of these things are just presented as this is just the way these people are. We don't really know why they're the way that they are, and they're all pretty flawed / strange / just different people. That it's like this is just the way people are, and I think I kind of like that aspect. There's always because, like I say, we know people in many cases that are a bit like this. Like to me, it felt like even though they are maybe slightly exaggerated. Like I know someone maybe a bit like a Napoleon Dynamite. I definitely know someone a bit like Kip. Like,
Yeah.
and I just like, and yeah, Uncle Rico. Like I say, I just feel bad for the guy. Like he's like clearly not got anything going on, and his life's fallen apart at some point, and he's clearly had some kind of big crisis that's led him to where he is now.
To buy
we
a
don't know
time
what
machine.
any of that is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, then they buy a time machine off the internet, which seems like it's something from another movie, but it works here because it was that kind of early era of the internet where those kinds of things were popping up, and some people believe them, I think. And, yeah. And they both end up just zapping their dads.
Yes. I love that Kip's like I don't know, we haven't tried it, and then clearly he knows what happened to his uncle. It's
yes, yeah, exactly, and he's just smiling as he's turning it up. Or when they're talking like some mundane conversations, they're just so funny to me. In it, like there's a bit where Uncle Rico's talking about how long he spends on the internet, and he's like, "Do you like pay by the minute?" And he's like, "Yeah, Grandma still pays by the minute, and sometimes she gets a bit mad at how long I spend on here." And it's just like it's probably a solvable problem. Like you've just said, there's other ways to do it. Like you just let her keep paying. Like,
okay, so my question is, do you think this movie is supposed to take place in 2004, or do you think this movie takes place in like 1995?
No idea.
Okay,
I can't.
Right.
I couldn't.
I'm not the only
like,
one. Okay, good. Yes.
Yeah, it was really weird, and we were talking about the costumes because in some ways those outfits are actually kind of popular. I feel like now in a less maybe ironic way than they were in Napoleon Dynamite.
Oh yeah,
like some of the outfits that looked to me like really weird when this movie came out didn't feel nearly as weird as I was expecting when I was watching it this time.
Oh my god, yes. Well, I think this is the problem with that movie is that, well, not really the problem. It's just the thing about the movie is the way it's shot, the way they did like the makeup and the designs, what people are wearing. Like Napoleon Dynamite seems to only have one pair of shoes, which are moon boots for some reason. I don't know why, but I'm just like, when does this take place? Where does this take place? Does it just take place in like a weird rural area where every house is like 10 miles apart? You're just like, what is going on in this whole thing? It's so odd.
And how many of these things are based on things that really happened? Like, because like there's the bit where the Pedro it's Pedro, right?
Pedro.
Pedro he just gets really hot and shaves off all his hair, and then he has to wear a wig for the rest of the movie. And there's no real reason for it. Like, there's no real reason that it happens. It just...
Well, that's the thing, because the day before, he stayed home because he got sick. And then nobody asked him about it. And then that day, he's just like, I'm really hot. I'm going to go home. And then he just shaved his head. And you're just like...
Yeah. And that to me just seems like something that happened to someone. And they thought it was really funny. And then they put it into their movie. Like I feel like that's something that really happened because it doesn't add anything, and most of Napoleon Dynamite doesn't really add anything to the biggest story. It's just a series of, and maybe similar to Van Wilder always, it's a series of like little vignettes of just different aspects of life. And I mean, there's I guess a bigger story that it's coming up to this dance and stuff, and that this is the time when Uncle Rico came to look after them. Like it feels like it does capture a period of time. So it does seem to really have a specific focus of when it was set in terms of for these people, not necessarily in what year or whatever. But yeah, it just there's nothing really happens in it. But I don't know. I just like there's just so many bits that I like in it. And
but what do you think this movie is like about?
Nothing. Like yeah, like I guess growing up would be the only thing that I can see because that's really? But there's not a lot of development like for characters. They don't really change very much.
Kip does. He gets gangster.
Yeah, he does. He does, I guess. And yeah, but I think mostly it's just I don't know. It's just not so much about growing up, I guess, about the awkwardness of growing up, if that makes sense, or the awkwardness of being that age. So not even growing up, but just the awkwardness of being like that specific age. There's just so many weird things. Like they go to get this job selling like Tupperware, and there's the bit where he gives it to the husband that he's trying to sell this Tupperware to, and he's like, break it. And his husband is just like trying so hard to break this thing, and then he's like really emasculated and he can't. And he's like, I can't break it. And,
the wife looks at him too, like disappointed, like, what is wrong with you? Why are you so
uncomfortable? And it's so funny, and it goes on just that little bit slow. And then the next sequence, like, is it Kip or Kif? I'm not sure.
Kip with a P. Yeah.
Yeah. So Kip decides to show how strong it is by running it over with a van, and it just breaks. And he's like, "Dang!" And then he drives away. Like, and then Napoleon, for some reason, he's like, "Everyone else got jobs. I'm going to get this job at the chicken farm." Oh,
that thing was so gross. Yeah.
That was the only thing, like, because I was trying to think, is there anything kind of, we talked a lot about problematic stuff in Van Wilder, and I was like, is there really problematic stuff in this? I was like, not really, except for the fact that they shot that seemingly in a real battery farm. That bit did feel really weird, like something I wouldn't see in a movie today. Like all of these chickens in cages, clearly in distress. Like it was quite, and it was meant to be uncomfortable, I think, but it was uncomfortable that, like, clearly this was a place that exists. Like it just looks like a place they went to and filmed it. But so many of the bits around that farm are some of my like favorite moments that I had largely forgotten about. Like, do the chickens have large talons? And the guy that you can't understand just looks at him like in confusion, like, why are you asking this? Or they bring out lunch and it's all just egg-based lunch. It's like,
well, and they also put like a raw egg in the orange juice or whatever beverage that is and mix it up, and he's like, real good.
Like an egg drink and then egg sandwiches and boiled eggs, and they're all just sitting there like slowly, like one kid picks up a sandwich, another kid picks up a boiled egg, and they're just eating it like you would if you were in that situation. Like you would be like, if I worked at an egg farm and they were like, we're going to provide lunch, I'd be like, great. And then I'd go out and it's just all egg. I'd be like, what the fuck?
And also, by the time they got there, they were probably just so starving from whatever they were doing. They're just like, I'm just going to eat it or else I'm going to die.
It's just sitting on this like old table out in the heat.
Yeah.
And like it looks like such
there's flies on it. And there's
and they're just like, and then but you're a kid and you don't have any say in the world. Like you work at this place, you don't want to get fired, so you're just like, I guess I eat the egg. So you just see all these kids just like awkwardly eating eggs, and it's it just like I relate to it. Like I don't know, I never worked at an egg farm, but I just relate to that scene so much for some reason.
So this brings me to a point that like drove me crazy about this movie. They make food. Like every time they show food, they make food look so gross in this whole movie.
Even the hamburger? Like,
so, like Kip's making nachos and he's just grating this. He's ham-fisted all this like giant freaking cheese over these sad-looking chips on this plate. And it's probably
like orange.
Yeah, like it's clearly not real cheese,
Yeah.
Or when the uncle comes and Uncle Rico comes and they're eating steaks and you have all like the runniness
so
on the plate
wet.
and
it's so wet.
I was just like, what is? How are you making this look so disgusting? Like
even when they talk about food, and she's like, "Oh, we're out of steaks," and he's like, "What am I gonna eat then?" And she's like, "Just make yourself a gosh damn quesadilla." It's just like even the fact that it's mispronounced, like it's all like the grandma going to the dunes.
Yeah, I feel like well, you learned lots about her immediately. It's great. Or even when the girl, she's like, when he first walks over her, he's like, you don't have to drink 1% milk. It's not like you're fat or whatever he says. I was just like, oh my God. But she's just eating like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and a piece of it's on her face. And it just looks, it just looks awful. Like she's hating every minute that she's doing that. Like it's, ugh.
And the whole, and I think that ties in with the school looking kind of shitty, and the uniforms all just look like they've been worn 1,000 times. Like they're not new school uniforms like most movies would have.
Well, they only have like the gym class T-shirts is their quote unquote uniform. Yeah. With
their names handwritten on them. Was that a thing when you were in school? I thought
I did not have that. Like I've
never seen that.
When I was in high school, we did have like a gym uniform because I went to a Catholic school where we had a uniform. But we didn't have to write our names or anything. It's ours. We took it home, washed it, brought it back.
Like, I've never seen anything like that before. I liked it though. Like it looks so funny just seeing all these kind of like really sketchily drawn names. Because even that, like if it was in another movie, it would be nice handwriting.
Yeah,
but it looks like kind of shitty and like it's
the best thing
hard to read.
Was on Pedro's where it was clear like he made a mistake while writing it, like had to like redo it.
Yeah,
what? How do you misspell your own name?
So much of these things is, I think, why I like this movie so much. It's like all this weird, unnecessary detail that exists in this world, but it's also quite stylized at the same time. Like it's this weird mixture of things. The costumes generally are all just really interesting. Or that side ponytail that she has at one point. Like,
I mean, I don't remember any other movies like this specifically before this came out.
No.
I know I'm sitting here trying to think, but I'm like, I know there's been movies done in this kind of like weird, awkward style since, but I can't really.
I think the other thing I can think that is kind of comparable, and they're not one-to-one, but like a Wes Anderson type thing has a similar vibe. I feel like
Bottle Rocket would. Rocket would. His like first one. I don't hate that movie. I think I've seen all of it, but every time I've tried to watch it, I've fallen asleep. That's just
I feel like his movie, in terms of that being like its own kind of thing, and they're not following conventions that movies normally follow. I feel like they have that in common, like a little bit. They don't feel exactly the same, but it's the closest movie that I can movie that I can think of. Like, because and obviously they did some other movies, like they did Nacho Libre, and I feel like that was way broader than this is.
It was also they definitely also had like a huge budget for it and all that kind of stuff. Like the production value is much higher and things. Yeah, and
I don't think it's as good as Napoleon Dynamite. Like in my opinion, it's almost too much. Like I think, it's an interesting thing.
I want to say I know for a fact I saw Nacho Libre in the theater. Yeah. I remember nothing about that except for Jack Black being in his luchador.
Yeah, I don't remember very much about it.
I don't remember anything
except being a little disappointed. I feel like because I liked Napoleon Dynamite so much, and I feel like it's exactly what you'd expect it to be. It's like Napoleon Dynamite, but with a bigger budget, and I felt like the humor was broader, like because it was. And some of that's Jack Black. I think if you cast Jack Black, that's what you're going to get a little bit.
Yeah.
But it just felt generally, even the topic, like it's about wrestlers and stuff versus just it's about random kids. It's a more exaggerated idea, I think, generally. It's.
Oh, okay, yeah. I just realized they did Gentlemen Broncos, which makes a lot of sense. I love that. It's a great movie. You should watch it. I think you would love it.
Newer or
2009. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I have nobody I know besides my brother, I know has seen that movie. And I keep telling people, I'm like, it's weird and it's wonderful. You will like it. It's good.
I'm keen to check it out.
Yeah.
I think Napoleon Dynamite as well, like it was a real cultural moment. Like all of the cast from this mostly then kind of went and did a bunch of stuff and then disappeared. Like they all
really Napoleon Dynamite. I know like cousin Rico, Uncle Rico, and like the guy who has like the dojo. They were in stuff way before this, so I recognize that.
He was on Drew Carey show and stuff.
And then there was the girl who was in like Karina and Andre and all that kind of stuff. She was like a child actress. I recognize her. But besides John Heder, I don't recognize anybody from anything else.
The Pedro guy went and did a bunch of stuff right after this as well. I can't think of any. Yeah, okay. I feel like I can't think of it off the top of my head though. Maybe I'm wrong. I feel like he was in several things, but John Heder definitely had that period right after this where he was quite hot for a while and then disappeared. I feel like
he was so Kid and Crank. Okay, yes,
that's right. Yeah. So.
I'm sorry, I'm just scrolling through his stuff and I don't know any of it.
I feel like it was a bit of a like I said, I think it was a moment and they had some success and then they disappeared. Like they got
it's he was in Eastbound and Down. Oh,
yeah.
All right.
A lot the guy from Drew Carey show, the dojo guy, he's the voice of Batman in the Batman the Brave and the Bold, and so that's all.
Is he really?
Yeah, that's all I could hear in this was, and because it's the exact same voice that he has in this movie, and every time he's like "Bow to your sensei," and it sounds exactly like Batman in that series, and that's one of my favorite Batman series. So that was really funny. But yeah, to me, this is so much. I can see that it's not necessarily a great movie, but there's just like so much that I love in it. Like I don't know why either. It's just
I feel like if you show this to like someone who's never heard of it or has never seen this style of movie, they'd be just very confused. They'd be like,
I think so.
Why was this popular? What is this? What's going on? I don't
understand why it was popular when it came out. Like I don't really get it. Like because it was pretty popular. Like I remember it was being kind of a big deal. And
it was a quote unquote cultural phenomenon. Like it wasn't meant to make any money, and then it made a bunch of money. And then like people liked it.
In Empire magazine and being like, "Oh, I've got to see this." Like, I doubt it came out at the cinema here. Like, I don't think it would have got a cinema release here, but but certainly on DVD, like I remember being real excited to see it the first time.
I remember the costumes where everybody was Napoleon or there was a vote for Pedro or in the brown suit. That's what everybody was for a couple of years. Yeah.
Like that I wore for years.
That was very popular.
Yeah. And like the dancing bit of Napoleon Dynamite dancing was like a real thing that just popped up everywhere. And so one thing me and Sally talked about, there's is it LaFonda who comes down and she gives him some of her cousin's music and it's Jamiroquai and we're like so is your cousin Jamiroquai?
I think it's just supposed to be a mixtape, maybe. I don't know.
I don't know. I the way I don't know. Yeah, I think her cousin's Jamiroquai.
And there's nothing wrong with that. It's fine. But Candide is a great song. It's not his best song, but it's a great song.
It works well, I think, in that sequence really well though. And the music generally in this is quite good. There's a lot of like the choices are good, I think. Like the dance music, a lot of it is in Stranger Things more recently. Like I feel like I was like, oh, I forgot this was in this as well. But it was I don't know. I find it hard to fault the movie. Like, even despite the fact that I know there's nothing really that good about it, it's hard for me to think of anything that's bad about it as well. Like, I mean, it's just like,
like you're sitting here describing scenes and all that kind of stuff. I was like, yeah, that is kind of funny. But as I was watching it, I was like, I'm just bored. Like, I was bored looking at it. Like, you know how sometimes talking about something is more interesting than like watching it. And
your
that's
response
literally
to
what
it
happened.
is how I was worried I might feel. Like I like when I went to put it on, and I asked Sally if she wanted to watch it with me, and I was like, I need to watch this like the next couple of days. Do you want to watch it with me? And she was like, okay, I guess. And then I was like, I'm worried it's not going to be good because I really loved it so much, and I'm like, I'm worried I'm not going to enjoy it this time. And I think my nostalgia probably buoys me through. Like I really liked it when I first saw it, and I think that gets me through it. Like even like the internet dating stuff, because we haven't really talked about that, but like it's just so uncomfortable and awkward, and and then they
Well,
meet.
even when
Like,
she shows up, you're like, okay, fine, but this whole combination is just odd.
yeah.
And then he's
And what does she
wearing like the
see in him?
do-rag and the
Yeah.
outfit. And I
And what
don't
does
get
she
it.
see in him? He's like such a weird, creepy, like not very nice guy. Like he comes across as being just this kind of sort of just shy guy, but he's not. Like he's quite mean to people at times. Like where like he deliberately tricks his brother into using this time machine that he knows is going to electric shock him. Like it's and he won't pick him up from school, and he's like not a very nice guy. And meanwhile, his brother will tow him into town on rollerblades on his bike. Like their relationship is. The dynamic is like he using his younger brother so much more than the other way around, and but for some reason she likes him.
Which I don't know. Like I understand how, because in text form you can read things however you want to read them. So you'd be like, okay, I can understand how he like got her to come out there. Okay, maybe she like but once you like interact with him and how he's kind of a jerk, he talks kind of weird. He has no prospects. He doesn't have a job. He lives with his grandma and his brother, and you're just like, are you even gonna try to do?
Well, people are hard on Napoleon, and I'm like, he's doing more than his brother is. Like,
I agree.
Make him go feed the alpaca. He's been at school all day.
It's very true. It's very true.
Yeah.
But I also think it's really funny that he's 32 years old, but he still has to have the uncle come to take care of them because he's not going to do anything. Like, that's kind of sad. Like, that's really sad. You're clearly an adult. You should be able to handle this household with like your 16-year-old brother. Like, this shouldn't be hard.
And like he's so unreliable that you need to get this other super unreliable guy to come and do this.
And have like schemes.
I always wondered about that. Like, did they ask him to come, or did he just hear that grandma wasn't there, and was that his opportunity to move in?
Well, he told them like grandma was in the hospital and called him to show up.
Yeah. I'm wondering whether, like, there's always part of me that just wonders, because he immediately leaves when she comes back, that she didn't invite him there, that he just was like, I could live in a house for a while and eat steaks, and that he just came. And then because the other brother's just like, I don't mind if you stay. Like, I wonder if he was ever invited.
Yeah. No, I don't know. Like, there's so few answers to questions in this. Like, they don't really. Like for example, like the movie is Napoleon Dynamite. It's about Napoleon Dynamite. The character from beginning to end doesn't change, doesn't evolve or anything. I'm sure he learns how to dance.
He makes some
friends.
Yeah, and he makes some friends. Yeah.
In the weirdest possible way. And I don't understand how their friendship works, to be honest. But like he doesn't really change. And the people who change are like, I don't even think Pedro really changes. He's just happier, I guess.
I think that's a good way of describing it. He's happier.
And the girl doesn't really change. She just realizes she has a friend, which is good. But the uncle doesn't change at all. Kip kind of changes, I guess. I mean,
but only because he's still the same guy, though.
Yeah, he's still the same
and he's still the same guy. Like, he changes his outfit. Like, he doesn't really change as a person very much. And maybe this is a good time to bring this up. Did you watch the scene after the credits?
Yeah, the wedding scene, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. Because when we watched it and the credits started rolling, I said to Sally, isn't there a scene at a wedding Like, is it not in this version of the movie? Like, what's going on? And Sally was like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I've seen this movie a couple of times. There's no wedding scene. And I was like, there definitely is. Like, maybe it's a deleted scene or something. And I've watched on the feature. I was like, I know there's a scene. So she looked it up, like, while the credits were playing. She was like, oh, there's a scene after the credits. And it goes for ages. Like, it doesn't feel like an after the credits scene. And that's maybe the bit one where we realize that Kip hasn't changed very much, where he sings this song about technology, and it's supposed to be about his wife, but he's like, and I love you more than technology, but I still love technology. And then he starts talking about technology for a bit, and then Napoleon comes in on a wild horse that he's tamed for their honeymoon.
Yeah,
and he's like wearing the silk shirt, and he comes running in, and it's like nothing like Napoleon at all in any of the other parts of the movie. It's such a weird sequence.
But it also makes me think that it might be Napoleon's dream or something.
Yeah, that's what it feels like, right? Yeah, it feels like that. And because he comes in and everyone's cheering for him, and like he's interrupted the wedding, and everyone hates Kip, like the guy, like the
they show up with a family. Yes,
they're all like face palming the whole time, and then Napoleon comes in, and he's like he saves the wedding almost, and it does feel like it's his dream or something. It's such a weird sequence.
Well, apparently that wasn't in the original movie. That was filmed specifically for the DVD release.
Okay,
and it was filmed like a year after or something like that. Yeah. So
they were playing on it in a way. Maybe it was almost a bit ironic as well. Like Okay, yeah, that makes more sense because. It was weird where it was. Like, it was weird that it was after the credits to me. It didn't, I don't know. And one, we didn't really get after the credit scenes that much back in those days. Nope. But two, it doesn't feel like an after the credit thing where it's like a gag or a tease it's just like, this is this other scene that probably should have been in the movie. Like,
it was probably part of the script and they're like, no, take it out. And they're like, we made lots of money. Can we still do it? And they're like, do whatever you want.
We can't afford a horse, so we can't do it. And then they were like, hey, can we get that horse? And they're like, yeah, you can have the horse.
You can have the horse now.
Because that's kind of the resolution in a bit of Kip's storyline, like that they get married. But then also it doesn't add anything because you know that they left together anyway. Like, it doesn't add anything to any of the characters. So it makes more sense that it was something that was filmed later.
I also do find it weird that Kip leaves without telling anyone goodbye. Like, he doesn't tell his brother goodbye.
Kind of sees him leaving, right? Like, Napoleon just kind of sees him getting on the bus.
And LaFonda, like, if you like, as the bus pulls up, LaFonda actually like waves at him.
Yeah,
and she's the only one who acknowledges. Like, I think the thing I like about LaFonda is that she shows up, and yes, she's already kind of weird because she likes Kip. Yeah. That's not her fault, just a character thing, but it's still weird that she likes Kip. But also, actually, no, it's not even just her. Most of the movies like this is that she doesn't make fun of him. She doesn't think he's weird. No. She's just curious about him. Like, he comes out of his room, he's all sweaty and stuff. He's like, who are you? Yeah. She's like, I'm this person. She's like, and she's just like, why are you sweaty? You know, and he's like, I'll learn some really cool dance moves. And she's like, oh, you like to dance. Not just like, what? She doesn't make fun of him in any way or anything
apart from his friends, she's by far the nicest to him. And arguably, she's nicer to him even than the friends. The friends
I think she's nicer to him than the friends.
Around him and put up with him in a way. Maybe the girl less so, but Pedro just feels like, oh, you're just my friend. Like, he doesn't. They don't really interact that much, and they don't really help each other that much. But she's actively nice to him. Like, she gives him that's when she gives him the tape, and like, it's almost like she's trying to build a relationship with him because he's the brother of the guy that she loves, and she's doing exactly what you'd expect a normal person to do. In that situation. Which makes her stand out because she's the only person that feels remotely normal in this movie. But
that also reminds me of the other thing that I realized is, like, so compared to like Van Wilder and other like teen focused films of that time period, this movie doesn't come across as mean. You know,
no, definitely not. Yeah,
they don't like. Yeah, he's got bullies in the school and whatever, and like they just push him into a wall, but they don't call him names. They don't. They're not mean to him, essentially. They're not very nice to him, but they're not outwardly mean towards him, like trying to like break down his character, trying to like destroy who he is or telling him he's weird or different or
Yeah.
strange or whatever. They let him be who he is, and he's also one of those people who are just like, yeah, you don't like me that much, but I don't care. I'm going to be this.
Exactly. He's himself. And he's not presented as like the bullying. I think, one, they bully other people too. So we see them bullying other kids and stuff. Two, they just presented as like normal kind of bullies. They're not really exaggerated or whatever. It's like they just push him into a locker, or they kick his tots into his pocket, or the other kid, like they just grab the other kid by the hand and just shake him around for a bit. And it's like
so violent.
Yeah, and it's realistic in a way that makes it feel like it's not. There's nothing cool about it. Like it's obviously not cool. Like it's obviously not nice. And then later on, the cousins come and actually like show them, like, get the bully to stop bullying that other kid. And they don't even stop him bullying Napoleon. Like they get him to come and stop him bullying just that random kid. And like it does sort of say, like, without really saying it, bullying is not cool. Like it's not a good thing to do. The people that do it look like shit. Like they look real sketchy, and it's almost like the girls less so, I guess, because they're kind of bullies a little bit in a way. But like, I guess they're not really they're not really bullies. They just clearly don't like him, I suppose. Yeah.
No, I don't think like I think if it was like another teen movie and stuff, they'd be like calling him names behind his back and all this kind of nonsense. Whereas with this, they're just like, no, they don't. Yeah. They're just like, I just don't like you, and that's it. You know,
the meanest bully is his brother, like, and his uncle. True. Like they're the actual people that are really bullying him, like, and even grandma to an extent, like, like when he's talks about going to college, and you just hear from the background, your mom goes to college. And, like that's his brother. It's not some random bully. The girl that her mum makes her go to the thing with her, the dance with her, like that to me felt really real. Like that mum could see that this kid's struggling and needs something. And
but don't force your kid to do that, though. That's mean.
I don't think it's done in a very like, yes, you shouldn't. But I think it feels real. Like it feels like something a mum would do. Like and like with the best intentions, make everyone's life a bit worse. Like because in the long run, it's not nice for Napoleon. She's gonna ditch him when they get to the dance. Like
it's not nice for her either. She doesn't want to be there with him. No. They don't get along. They can't talk about anything.
Exactly. It's just uncomfortable for everyone, but you forced your daughter to go and do this. Yeah. And he draws her that lovely picture where the shading on the lips took like 3 hours. And it's just, and even that, like in other movies, it would look really bad, but it looks bad, but in a way that you believe the kid in high school did it with and put a lot of effort into it. Like all that, again, unnecessary detail. Like they made that picture like really feel real. And
I honestly feel like the director or something was just like, I know I can't draw, but I'm just going to try to draw your face.
Yes.
See what happens. Yeah. And so they weren't like, oh, just draw a really bad picture. I don't think that's what anybody was directed to be like, hey, can you see if you can draw this?
Yeah.
Done.
I remember like, and because he's drawing like the barbarians and things all over his books.
And the Ligers and stuff.
And like my brother was super into fantasy and in about the same time. And I remember him drawing pictures that looked kind of like exactly the same as those. It's in high school, like, unless you're like a prodigy, no one's that good at art yet. Like, so it's like he's putting a lot of work into it. And like, there's aspects of it that are quite good. But then it also has this just uncanny valley awkward quality to all the people that he draws. And like, I feel that as someone, I didn't draw the fantasy stuff, but was really into drawing in school. And it's like, I'm not getting any better at this. Like, I'm trying really hard. And I think I was, but it was one of those things as well where you would try to mimic other styles that weren't your own style. So you're like drawing these. And then at a point, I think you realize, hey, maybe if I just draw like me, it will look good. But he's trying to draw like this realistic picture of this girl that he likes, and it's just so awkward, and like the eyes are too far apart, and it just Doesn't look anything
But
like
like
her.
the thing that I do find that's funny about that scene is that when she opens the envelope and sees the note, she actually smiled at it. She's like, "Oh, this is
Yeah.
really cute." And then she sees the picture and she's like, "No,
Yes.
no."
Yeah, the idea of it is nice. And then what
Yeah.
she received was horrendous. And,
Yeah, like
and that's
I
exactly
don't
how
think
you'd react.
yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
she was like against it or anything. I think it was
No.
just the outcome. It was like, I can't handle this. No.
And even if she didn't like Napoleon, like she obviously didn't have a crush on Napoleon or anything like that. Like I don't think she was really into Napoleon that much. But the idea of the note didn't repulse her. Like even though she didn't necessarily like Napoleon, she liked the act. Like she liked that he'd gone to that effort. And I think that was quite nice. Like it added a little bit of depth to her character that wasn't there otherwise. And then she responded how most people would respond to getting that picture of themselves. Like she's like, "Oh, I don't like this guy, and this picture's horrendous."
Again,
and I have to pretend it's good.
Exactly. And that she hung it in her room.
Yeah. Now my mum's gonna make me keep this.
And again, this is what I like. I do kind of like this about this movie is that it's not a mean movie, you know.
No,
it's not like she doesn't pull it out and just throws in the garbage like, "Oh my god, I don't like that guy." Ew. Like, no.
And maybe that's why it stood out so much when it came out, because it was the same kind of time as your Van Wilders and all of those kinds of movies that were at times a bit more mean-spirited, I feel like. And so it probably was, at its time, quite a breath of fresh air. Like, that it was that bit more wholesome and a bit more... Yeah, I think maybe that's part of why maybe it caught on so much when it came out, because it was very different to anything else at the time.
Yeah. I think that happens with a lot of films that you're just like, I don't get it, but also I kind of get it, because you're just like, it's so different. It gives people an option for something else that they can enjoy when everything is like the same.
It's pleasant. Like it's just kind of pleasant. Like, and I think that's maybe how I don't think I'm going to watch it again anytime soon either. Like, but I found the experience. I feel like I'll watch it again in 10 years and I'll be like, yeah, okay, cool. I forgot about that bit. And then
every 5 minutes.
And then I'll put it back on the shelf for 10 years again.
Well, I mean, I honestly don't think I've watched it since that time. I watched it twice. So
yeah. I certainly haven't watched it since I got the DVD, which would have been around about when it came out, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Like, it would have been.
It probably was around like 2005. I probably got this. Yeah.
So I was the same. And that's why I think I was a little nervous that I was really going to hate it, because I was like, oh, but I liked it so much before. Like, is it going to really suck? Like, and I don't know. I don't think it sucked. I think I can see why you didn't maybe enjoy it as much as me, and I can relate to that. But like, I don't know, I had a lot of fun with it. It was just a pleasant hour and a half. Like, it was just
I must admit, like, I was, as I said, I was kind of bored, but it was much more pleasant than Van Wilder.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Night and day. Yeah.
So hopefully it'll be fine. Yeah.
Yeah. We probably talked in Napoleon Dynamite too, but I feel less like we were just talking about whatever. Like, we were talking about the movie and like memories of the movie and things like that. Like, it was a lot more of a positive vibe to our conversation, whereas Van Wilder, I feel like a lot of our conversation was like, oh, it's that guy from the Breakfast Club. That's a better movie. Or he's a lot like Ferris Bueller, isn't he? I'd rather watch Ferris Bueller. Oh, this guy's like Stifler, but wholly unlikable. Like, it's just, that was pretty much what our conversation was like for most of Van Wilder.
Yeah.
Or, I was been up to lately.
I was also sitting here thinking about, like, I own the movie PCU for some reason. It's fine.
What is that?
PCU was like an updated version of Animal House, essentially, that came out in the movie. And I feel like it's just gonna be offensive watching that thing.
Yeah.
Because it's like
kind of intrigued.
The lead in that movie is Jeremy Piven.
I know that name, but I can't visualize who that person is.
Trust me, if you look it up, you'll be like, oh, that guy. is what you're gonna say. So yeah. And they're like in university and like there's shenanigans and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So and who's the bad guy in it? It's like David Spade or something. So I'm worried about watching movies like that. I'm just like I'm also kind of like embarrassed. I'm just like, why do you have this?
Coming up soon too, right?
Yeah, it'll be coming out relatively soon. But most of these I have because they were in like a bucket somewhere, and I was like, oh, it's $5. I have Pauly Shore is Dead. Why do I have this movie? It's fine.
I've got Charlie's Angels. I'm like, I don't know why I've got it.
You're like, it's there.
I don't hate it. It's just a thing. Like, I don't know why I would have bought it, but
I don't even think I think I have watched all of Charlie's Angels, just not in a single sitting.
Yeah, it's fine. Like, it's just, but that I've got a lot of DVDs where I feel like it was as cheap to buy them as it was to rent them almost. So I just bought them at times, and but like I feel like I could go through and cull 50% of my collection and still keep all the movies that I enjoy. Like, and like I don't think I have I'm sure I have some movies that I actively dislike, but for the most part, I don't dislike them. They're just like nothing movies, and I don't know why I would have wanted to collect them.
Yeah. I feel like so they used to have all these sales that were like 4 for $20 or whatever.
Exactly.
But then you'd find like 3 or 2 movies, and you're just like, well, now I gotta get the rest, or else I gotta pay like $10 each for this. Not stupid. Yes. And so you're just like, yeah, I've never seen this, and I've never seen this. Done. And that's kind of what happens.
Yes, I've got a movie, and I can probably see it from here. It's called there's something in the Pilliga, and it's like an Australian horror movie that's a little bit Blair Witchy. Okay. And I totally bought it because I needed a 4th movie in one of those kinds of deals at Saturday. I went to Saturday. I was like, I got 3 movies I want. There's something in the Pilliga. The cover looks cool. Like, I'll get that. And it's so average. And it's like, clearly these guys just filmed it. Nothing happens. It's like the Blair Witch Project, but with like no artistic value at all. And it's like, it's just so mediocre. And it was one of those films that only exists because they needed to sell DVDs for the like. They're like, we'll pick this up and put it on DVD because we'll put any old shit on DVD because we just want to sell it in these cheap and the idiots like me that bought it. And I've got quite a few of those kinds of movies as well, like the Dinosaur Project, which is like the Blair Witch Project but with dinosaurs in it. And it's like I've got quite a few of those movies, and they're all from either like rental sales, and they were like $2, or something where you needed an extra one just to fill out your 10 for $50 or whatever it was.
Oh yeah, and then you're just like, no, I gotta pile this on, you know. Or else the worst is when it's like, well, if you buy the 4 for $20, fine, but if you only buy like 2 of them, it's $15 each, and you're like, no, well, now I have to get all 4.
Yeah, I'm actually costing myself if I don't get these. Like, I've got my Mario Brothers, I've got my Howard the Duck. Now, what else am I going to get to fill out the space?
I am sad I never got Howard the Duck, though. I am sad.
I think it didn't get much of a release. It was because I remember going to a shop and getting Super Mario Brothers and Howard the Duck, and they clearly were from like the same publisher and stuff. And I've never seen either of them on DVD again. I remember being so excited, and they weren't expensive. Like because I was at school, like when I bought them, they were probably like $5 or something. And I remember just being real excited to get my hands on those 2 movies. And like Mario, I don't really like. Howard the Duck is a bad movie, but I still kind of love it. Like there's so much about it, and just it's peak 80s and peak just so many things that I enjoy about movies. Even if
I think Howard the Duck. I think I've seen that movie twice, and I was under the age of 15 both times I watched it. Yeah. And I don't know why it's like in my brain that I loved it a lot. And I think if I rewatch it at any point in time, I'll be like, how the hell did I like this? But at the same time, my mind is like, you need to watch this movie again. It's one of the greatest movies ever made. Like, I don't know.
The first half of it I still love. Yeah. The second half of it I always forget exists. and and it's horrible. The second half is really bad. I mean, the first half is bad, but in this way that I find very appealing. The second half is just like bad sci-fi kind of mediocre alien storyline that isn't very interesting. I mentioned we watched the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special last night, and I won't let you know whether he does appear or not. But I turned to Sally and I said, I wonder if Howard the Duck will be in this. We haven't seen him since Endgame. And she was just like, I fucking hate Howard the Duck. And,
Howard the Duck that much. Come on.
Yeah, I don't know. I've always liked him too. Like, I haven't even read that many Howard the Duck comics, but I always like the fact that he was like a cartoon duck in this realistically drawn environment. So you've got like Spider-Man there, and he like drawn like all the detail on his muscles and stuff, and he's just standing there talking to like a cartoon duck. And there's something about that always has appealed to me. I always liked that movie I watched it way too young, like as a kid.
Oh yeah.
Just loved it for some reason, and I can't ever not love it. Like, it doesn't matter what you can tell me about Howard the Duck going forward, I'll always love it, even though I know objectively it's not very good.
Yeah. I think it's one of those movies where, like, I mean, I watch shows and I watch movies where people are just like, that movie's garbage. I'm like, yes, it is, but I love it. They're like, this is wrong with it. This is wrong with it. This is wrong. I'm like, I agree with you. I'm not telling you to watch it. I'm just telling you I like it. That's it.
Masters of the Universe, the last time we spoke, very much fits in that same place. And I've told this story before of pirated videos that my auntie had, and I watched a lot. And Howard the Duck was there too.
Love it. No, mine was what did my aunt have? Supergirl and the first Terminator movie. That's what she had.
Oh wow.
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty
very different things. Yes. Yeah.
She had Caravan of Courage, the Ewoks movie, and I feel like to this day that's how I discovered Star Wars. Like, I feel like I discovered it after watching Caravan of Courage, and there's still a part of me that I think, again, despite knowing that they're not very good and watching a bit of one on Disney Plus and not even getting through it, I still love those movies, maybe more than I love Star Wars.
Oh my god, that's some deep ingrained stuff there.
Yeah. I stay with my dad a lot, and I watched those videotapes a lot.
Well, I thank your Nana for your love of films.
Yeah,
that's good.
Good and less good.
Yes. Well, do you have any final thoughts of these? I mean, we're going way off course again. Yeah. So,
as we're prone to do.
Yes. Do you have any final thoughts of these two? We'll call them movies.
Van Wilder, I think I can safely say I will never watch it again. If I wanted to ever watch Van Wilder again, and because I rented it through YouTube to watch it, and next to the rental for YouTube was like, how it recommends other things, and it had recommended the scene with the cream cakes and the dog. I think next time, if I ever wanted to expose someone to Van Wilder, I think I'd just show them that scene on YouTube.
You're like, this is all you need to know. That's it.
Yeah, this is the only part of this movie worth watching, and it's grotesque and disgusting. And then I move on. Napoleon Dynamite, like I said, I think I'll watch it in 10 years and enjoy it again. And then it might be a thing I watch every decade or so.
Every once in a while, you're just like, I haven't watched this in a while. Put it in, you're like, and we've done that. I was calm. It was, I've accepted it, and then I will go on if I like. Yes. I agree with what you're saying. I mean, you can skip Van Wilder. I mean, personally, I think young Ryan Reynolds is just weird looking. Like, he's just weird looking. Like, his
face is the same, but his body's so thin.
I don't even think his face is the same, because I mean, he's the same guy who was in A Guy, a Girl in a Pizza Place, or Two Guys, a Girl in a Pizza Place, or whatever. And his face is weird. It's just, I don't know how to describe it. I've always thought his face was weird until like Wolverine or something, right? It's not the Deadpool, it's the one where he played fake Deadpool, quote unquote fake Deadpool, where I thought his face was not weird looking anymore. And then, but I didn't put two and two together. I'm like, is that the same? That's the same guy?
And I feel like that was the beginning of his real success after that. Like, because he was around forever, but I feel like he wasn't really like because he's quite a marketable actor now. But I feel like that's a relatively recent thing. Like that's a post-Deadpool thing, really.
Yeah,
Like,
well, because he was doing mostly like rom-coms and stuff, like The Proposal and all that
and
kind
like
of stuff.
Green Lantern, and like he had a few moments where he could have taken off, but I feel like he didn't really take off until like post-Deadpool, because he's in everything now.
He's in everything now, yeah.
Like Detective Pikachu, like 19 Netflix movies. He bought a soccer team in Wales. Like, he's obviously doing okay.
Yeah, he's got like he's like a huge investor in some like mobile company in Canada,
and a gin company as well.
Yeah, Aviator Gin. Yeah, I know about that. And so he's doing well. Good. Yeah, good for him.
But skip them on it. Like unless you have a real specific interest in teen movies of that generation and you've watched all the good ones, there is no reason to go back.
Or you have an obsession with one of the actors in it and you're like, I have to see every movie they're in. Okay, fine. But it's really unnecessary.
Whereas I think I would recommend Napoleon Dynamite to certain people. It's not an everyone movie, but I think there are some people that I'd be like, you should check this out. Like, even if you might not like it, but I think you'll find something, you'll be intrigued. Yeah. Like, maybe you're going to be intrigued by this film.
I feel like I would recommend it to somebody who's like, I'm a film student and I love films and the different ways of expressing, these things on camera. And I'd be like, watch this. Fine.
Yes, definitely.
Yes. Not some random kid who's like, I want bellies of laughs. You're like, no, that's not for you.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, and probably not a modern kid. Like, I don't think a modern kid, it's too slow, I think. I
don't think they have the patience for it.
Yeah.
Everything's got to be like quick and snappy. So, not build up characters and atmosphere. I mean, I have to admit, I do get frustrated with some movies that just have too much like quote unquote atmosphere in it, where it's like everything's just like, it's a feeling. I'm like, okay, I got the feeling. Let's go. Why is this still going for 10 more minutes?
I'm more open to that. I'm one of those people that likes the first Alien better than Aliens. And
I like both of them on like the exact same level.
I feel like a lot of people like one or the other. Like, and not that you dislike the other, but you have a preference. And my preference is definitely for the first one, like the atmosphere and the slow build. And I know a lot of people prefer the second one because it is more interesting in a lot of ways. Like, there's actually more going on in it. But I don't know. A lot of people
I don't think it's more interesting. There is more going on.
There's more action for sure.
But my thing with the first Alien movie is that even though it's about atmosphere, things happen in all of those quiet moments.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
True.
Things are going on. Like, there's lots of like the art movies and stuff where it's like they'll be showing like a field.
Yeah.
It's the camera's not moving, nothing's happening. Yeah. They're just showing a field, and I'm just like, oh fuck.
Like that scene from American Beauty with the bag, and it's just like it's going on. Like we get it.
We get it. Like, let's go.
Yeah, I still kind of like it. Like, and there's part of me that sometimes appreciates when things go on a bit too long. Like, but it's almost me again liking things that are a bit uncomfortable. Like liking that feeling a bit. I watched a movie called The Cure for Wellness recently. And
I have watched that movie. Actually, except for the last like 5 minutes when it turns into like weird incest stuff. I actually really like that movie. I think it's really
I really liked it too. And I had missed it. I skipped it because the reviews for it hadn't been anything to write home about. And I really wanted to watch it because it's the same director as The American Ring, which again, I mentioned earlier, I really love. Yeah. And I love the atmosphere that he builds in that movie, The Ring. And I was like, I'll watch this. And I love just the setting and the atmosphere and the uncomfortable weirdness of that movie so much. But it's one movie that I wouldn't necessarily recommend to many people. Like, I just think most people wouldn't enjoy it. Like, it's too weird and it's too...
It makes you very uncomfortable. And I actually think that's one of the reasons why I kind of like it, is that even though it spends a lot of time creating this atmosphere, like with the first Alien movie, that atmosphere, those scenes, things are happening in those scenes. There's
Yes.
subtle things and there's small things, but they're showing you what's going on still.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
so they
I
make
think,
you uncomfortable. Yeah.
yes. And it's also high budget, weird atmosphere, which you don't see very often because
Mm-mm.
usually people wouldn't give people money to make those sorts of movies.
Have you watched Dune? Come on,
Yeah,
Dune.
I haven't watched it yet. I really
You
actually,
haven't?
no, I'm
Okay.
keen to watch it, but
Yeah.
it's a long one, and
It is. Yeah.
like it came out. It's pretty hard for me to get to the cinema at the moment, like these days, because we've got like a nearly 3-year-old. So if I go to the cinema, unless my parents happen to have him, and there's also a movie we both want to see out at the same time, I don't tend to go with Sally to see movies very much. So to see Dune, I would have to like find a whole afternoon somewhere that I could sneak out to the movies. I was really keen to do it, but I couldn't fit it in. And there's part of me that's a bit disappointed that I missed seeing it at the cinema. And I'm like, I don't really want to watch it at home, like unless I could sit down and like watch it. So
I will say it is definitely a big screen movie because of all that atmosphere. I mean, to be honest, like I liked the movie, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I liked it. But there are definitely a few scenes where it's just like, is there a perfume commercial being shot here? Like I don't know what's going on.
I've heard people that absolutely loved it and people that were just like, this is so boring. And I can see that I'm not sure which side I'm going to land on with it yet, because I'm not a big science fiction person necessarily. I like the science fiction things that I like, but I wouldn't say, I'm not one of those people that will just go and watch anything science fiction. Like it needs to have some interest for me. And so I'm not sure where I'm going to land on June. And like I say, I've got like a 3-year-old, like I've got a decent setup to sit and watch it at home. It's just finding the time.
Yeah, you got
something better to do. Like,
you gotta put 3 hours into watching this thing.
Yeah,
so
like I'm gonna need to watch it one night, and Sally will definitely not be interested in it. So I know it's a thing that I'm gonna have to watch by myself. But I also want to be able to watch it with like the sound up and stuff. So it's a very specific atmosphere that I think and circumstance that I'll need to be able to watch it. I'm excited for it in a way. Like I'm keen to. I see some of the effect shots and stuff from it, and it looks neat. I haven't even watched
it's
trailer,
beautiful. It's actually very beautiful to look at. The sound design is really good. Yeah, you do have to have the sound up because there's a lot of rumbling in it that's not actually loud, but you need it. You need that sound in it. It's part of what makes the scenes do things, you know? Yeah. So definitely recommend. But yeah, no, it's definitely a lot of time you're putting into watching that, and that's only the first half of it. So
if I see the first one, I'll like it. Like I'll make the effort for the second one for sure to see it at the cinema. I think. Because like I said, I was disappointed. It was what I wanted to see at the cinema. I just couldn't find the time to get there and see it. Because I like a lot of movies. Like I'll have to, if I want to go with someone else, I'll have to like try and find a friend or someone to go. A lot of times recently, like I'll just go to a movie by myself because it's easier than trying to find someone else's matchup, someone else's schedule and things. And I do see a lot of movies when I'm away for work. So like if I do work travel, but often they're just movies that happen to be on when I'm there. Like things that I wouldn't probably watch otherwise. Like Morbius. I saw Morbius in a gold class cinema because I just wanted to have a gold class experience.
That was not the movie to do that with. God, there's another bad Marvel movie. Oh my God.
Elevated it a bit. I think it made it better.
I was so angry when I watched that movie. Like I was so angry. I was like, you have got to be kidding me.
There's part of me that probably needs to watch it again. I didn't dislike it as I had such low expectations, and I got to the end of it and I was like, that's all right. Like not good, but like it wasn't as bad as I expected it to be, but maybe it was.
So angry.
I think I was just enjoying my beer and my hot dog.
Yeah. You're like, my belly is full. This is great.
Yeah.
I think Matt Smith is heavily leaning into being villains right now, and he's enjoying every minute of it. But also,
I liked him. But
no, it was so bad. No, I can't start talking about it because I'm gonna start screaming. And
it might be in that level of bad that I enjoy. I think, like, I can recognize it's not good, and I don't think it needs to exist. Like
No,
most
it
of
doesn't.
those. like I don't think anyone was craving it or wanting it, especially like it just seems like such a weird like Spider-Man's popular. Let's try and get this mildly Spider-Man adjacent thing out and try and make some money off it. Like,
Yeah, is
I
that what
feel
they did
pretty
with
much the
Venom?
same about the Venom movies.
Oh,
Yeah,
I didn't know. I actually tried to watch the second Venom movie, There Will Be Carnage, and I literally turned it off. I was like,
yeah.
no.
I saw it with my friend, and it's interesting because I know a lot of people like the Venom movies, and I didn't like the first one.
I did not like the first
liked,
one either.
I like Tom Hardy and Venom and nothing else. Like everything around it was bad. And then the second one, I was like, oh, you know what? Like maybe it's going to be better. And I think I liked it less. Like I think the second one, it just was, the pacing was so weird. Nothing good. It was just not good. Like it was,
Yeah.
I don't know. It was,
Yeah.
but like the guy I went to start with really enjoyed it. And like, I know a lot of people enjoyed it. So I don't know.
No.
I
Hated it.
I can't.
Well, I think the only reason why I watched all of Morbius and did not watch all of the second Venom movie is because I had already watched the Venom movie, right?
Yeah.
And so I got to a point in the movie where I was like, I don't like this, turn it off, fine.
Yeah.
But I'd never seen a Morbius movie. I didn't know anything about the character or anything either. So I was just like, I'm curious. And then I'm like, I just have to watch the end. I gotta get to the end. That's it.
Yeah.
And then I turned it off and I was mad about it. And that was it. I'm done.
Maybe the reason why Morbius was less offensive to me is because I can see the good movie in Venom. Like, because I think Tom Hardy's pretty good in the role. And like I think Venom, for the most part, is done pretty well. It's just the movie is horrible. Like
I think all of it's horrible.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I'm excited to see him potentially in a good movie. Like if he ever makes it to Spider-Man, I'm excited to see that. It's something like see him be in a good film, but it's not good. I don't know.
I agree with you.
Because Morbius, I just don't care. And I was like, oh, okay. Like Morbius' character, even as a big Spider-Man fan, I don't care about him. So like a bad Morbius movie means nothing to me. And it had vampire teeth, and I like vampires, and I was drinking. And
aren't they making a Craven movie?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, I hope that one's good. I don't know. My only access, the only things I know about Craven was from the '90s Spider-Man show cartoon. Yeah. So if it's anywhere on that level, I will enjoy it.
Yeah, I feel like again, it's a bit like Venom. Like once you take Spider-Man out of it, I just don't know if there's enough interest there. Like. And I think that's how I kind of feel about Craven. Again, I hope it's good. I always hope all of these movies are good. But I feel like these, especially these Sony Spider-Man movies, the animated ones not included, but the your Morbiuses, your Venoms, it's like we've given all the best stuff away to Marvel to use, and these are the characters they didn't want to use, so we're just doing stuff with them. Like,
well, are they doing it to retain them, like their ownership of it?
I think they just own them, and it's by implying they're connected to Spider-Man, it's a way of making money. That's my impression of all of these ones. Is it's like we'll put Vulture in the trailer, and we'll put a Spider-Man graffiti on the wall in Morbius. Like, it's to trick people in a way that, especially people that aren't so versed in this stuff as like we are. Oh, I like Spider-Man. Oh, this is a Spider-Man thing. I'm going to go and see it. And it's like, yeah, it is a Spider-Man thing, but it's not the Spider-Man stuff that you like. Like this isn't Endgame and Avengers and that. This is people putting these things out and just trying to, like, I don't know. I feel like you're taking advantage of people that don't understand.
It's a money grab. Yeah.
Yeah. And idiots like me that go and see them all anyway, despite knowing the fact that I'm not going to like them. Like,
yeah, that's me as well.
Spider-Man fan. Like, and I'm going to go see it, and I'll see Craven, and it'll suck. And
again, I said it before, I can't bitch about it unless I've seen it. So I'm gonna see it, I'm gonna bitch about it, and then they're gonna make more of it because I paid money for it. So like people are paying to see it. We're part of the problem. But if I don't see it, then I can't complain and I can't argue, and I see what people say about stuff, and I'm just like, well, I'm not sure, and blah blah. Oh, it's a whole thing. It's a whole cycle. Okay.
Yes.
And then I still end up in the theater watching it and getting angry, and then whatever.
So in like 6 months when Craven comes out, we'll talk about it and we'll both dislike it.
Exactly. Oh God, we've gone way off topic again. But yes.
Happy
Okay.
100 episodes.
Thank you. We did it. Hopefully there'll be 100 more. Yes. Let's see if we make it. Or unless, the world ends, like the apocalypse or something. It'll be fine. But yes, we're halfway through the alphabet. And just
I'm excited.
about halfway
I'm
through.
excited for some of those late letters. So
Yeah.
getting to S and T, surely they're going to be like big ones.
I'm going to tell you this right now. There's going to be some exciting shit in 2024. Just letting you know. It's going to be real exciting. Yeah. There's a couple. There's a bunch of like.
Don't worry about next year. Just come back in a year.
Oh no! I technically have things scheduled out until 2026.
Wow.
So, but no, I'm definitely going to be. Yeah, I'm going to be adding more like special episodes, like a Halloween episode here and stuff like that. So there's going to be a little bit of shuffling around. But
I'm excited for all of them.
Yes.
So, yeah,
it's going to be great. My only worry is at the end is X-Files, and I don't know how to handle that because I have 7 seasons to talk about, and I don't know how I'm handling that one yet. But I'll wait till we get there.
So like we started watching X-Files like when my wife was pregnant with my son. I'm not going to say wife. People know Sally is my wife. When she was pregnant. We had to move because she was quite unwell. So we had to move to like another city, and we lived in like Ronald McDonald's house for a while and stuff. And during that time, we didn't have like the internet really. Like we had it on our phones and stuff, but we didn't have Netflix and all of those kinds of things that are really available. And at the time, one of the free-to-air channels here was playing X-Files every night.
Nice.
And so we watched X-Files every night for a month because it was literally we didn't have anything else to do. Like we weren't allowed to leave the 2 blocks that the hospital was in. So we had to be there all the time. And so we watched X-Files every night, and it became like a routine thing. And Sally's never watched it. It's not really her area.
Oh, okay.
And we got quite into it. And we did keep watching it for a little bit when we got back, but then we dropped off. But it's always been a favorite of mine. So I'm keen to see what you do. But it's a difficult one to ask someone to watch.
Exactly.
Because they're long seasons.
They're between, on average, like the later seasons are a little bit shorter. They're like 18, 20 episodes, but the early seasons are between 24 and 26 episodes a season.
And like hour-long shows, right? Too. So they're like not short. Like
no.
Yeah.
And especially like the first season, like there's a lot of good episodes in that first season, but there's also a lot of really bad episodes in that season. And it's kind of
watching
like
season 3. That was what was on when we were at where we were staying, and I feel like that's like at its best in a way was like around that time. Yeah. Like because I'd previously rewatched season 1, and it's good, but I feel like there's a lot of it doesn't quite pick up its full steam until like a couple of seasons in.
Yeah.
And so I think that was also the perfect time to like get Sally into it, because that season 3, there's just a lot of really cool standalone episodes and things like that. And even the conspiracy stuff is not so out there yet that it's difficult to introduce someone to. Well, like later on, it's hard to explain.
Yeah, well, because the thing is, the early conspiracy stuff is just weird, right? Yeah. And it's just kind of like a lot of exposition and talking. And then when you get to like season 3 and season 4, you're just like, oh, we know it's a conspiracy, but like it's more like attainable for like people who aren't into the show. It's like it allows you it's at a certain level where it's really basic and you're just like, oh, there might be aliens, oh no,
yes.
Like that's it, and you're fine, right? But then in the later seasons it gets to a point where like, no, if you haven't watched these 4 seasons before and all of the mythology episodes in those 4 seasons, then you're fucking screwed. And the movie, yeah. You're just like, Why are they scared of bees? I'm like, oh my God, that's too much to explain. I can't help you with this.
Yes. It's like, because I remember going to see the second movie with my little brother, and we saw it, and a lot of people didn't like it. And I kind of get why, because they didn't feel like it pushed the story forward. But I was like,
it was like just like a long episode of the show, and that's what I loved about it.
Exactly, that's what I liked about it. And for like my brother who hasn't seen all of it, he could follow what was going on. Whereas if you watch that other movie, what the heck are you watching if you haven't watched the whole series? Like, it doesn't mean anything. Like,
it doesn't. But no, I love the X-Files. Oh, until the end of season 7. And then season 8 and 9 suck. And then season 10 sucks. And then season 11 is actually pretty good.
I feel like all of them have bits that I like in them after that point, but I definitely agree as a whole, not that good after season 7. Like, yeah.
Season 8 begins with her in like Africa and the weird ship, and then she's pregnant, and she's like, don't tell anybody I'm pregnant, and then runs around going like, don't hurt me, I'm pregnant. And it was just like, I thought you said don't tell anybody you're pregnant. Like, I don't understand.
And then eventually they get to a season with no real Mulder and Scully in it, and you're like, what even is this now? Like,
it gets really weird. But yeah, no, the last good episodes were in season 7, I think. The last episode was decent. It doesn't answer any questions or anything, but it's decent. But yes, anyway, I got like 3 years to think about what to talk about the X-Files.
You also need to play the video game to get the full continuity as well, because that was also another the PlayStation 1 game that tied in.
Oh, did it? I've never played it. I mean, even the first, I think 4 seasons had these like special DVD sets that come with like all the discs. But you also get like an extra disc that has like a game in it. But the thing is, it was like a text-based game on your TV, and it was super boring, and I never did it. Maybe that's something I'll get around to doing.
Like the PlayStation game, because I think there were 2 games. The second one was like a Resident Evil kind of thing that came way later. Okay. And from memory, it was okay. But the first one was like peak 90s FMV adventure game. So it was like the cast of the show, although they were used pretty sparingly because obviously they cost a bit more. Yeah. But it was like the cast of the show was in it, and you were like from memory, like a new agent, and you're coming in and you're like investigating what happened to Mulder and Scully on this case. And so like you're following in their footsteps a little bit.
Oh.
And I remember it being pretty cool. Like, I remember it being quite cool. I'm sure it might feel a little bit dated now, but at the time, it felt quite cool.
I never did any console gaming when I was a kid. So
yeah, I think it was probably on computer as well. I don't know, but I'm sure there's a YouTube video of someone playing through it. It wasn't that long. Like, I feel like it was maybe only the length of a couple of episodes if you knew what you were doing to get through it. So yeah. It was, I think, 9 discs or something on PlayStation. It was like you were constantly swapping discs.
Yeah. That's like what is it, Wing Commander? Like Wing Commander 6 was the last one we had, and it literally came in like a book.
Yes.
And it's just like, put in disc 4, put in disc 2, put in this, and it's just like, oh my God. But at the time it was wicked.
Yeah, it's the same with this. It was the video, I think, that was like obviously took up all the space. Yeah. And because that was like before DVDs. So it was to have like a 3-hour episode of X-Files or whatever is probably like 8 discs back at that point.
No, the last Wing Commander was on discs.
Yeah.
Yeah, CD. Yeah, they were CD-ROMs. So
yeah,
it's crazy. Yeah. Yes. I know. Look, all the little kids are just like, what are they talking about? What are these discs? What are discs? Well, look, you're here. I'm watching DVD.
You can go down to your video shop, your local video rental store, and rent X-Files on PlayStation 1, and you'll see exactly what I mean.
Well, even in Napoleon Dynamite, he gets like a VHS tape to learn how to dance, and I was like,
yeah.
Damn, kids are just like, what is he doing? That's weird.
That was dated even then.
Yeah, and he had like a Walkman or whatever. Oh, yes. It's great. Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was awesome. But yes, it made me feel a little less old.
Yeah.
I get all this. Thank you. This is great.
Grow up in a world where you could just see everything when you want to see it. Like my son doesn't have to live in a world where, like, if you've watched the first Jurassic Park, like, you might have to go to a shop to get the next one, or it might not even exist yet. Like,
I was talking to one of my niece's ones, and I was like, like, I didn't get to do this when I was a kid. Like, if I missed a show, I missed a show. And they're like, well, why didn't you just go look it up? You could have just gotten online. I'm like, no, that's not that's not how that works.
We're really old. Online didn't exist back then, or if it did, it wasn't fast enough to play a video.
Oh no! Oh my god! I remember being on like Napster and downloading a 3-minute song. It took 27 hours. It was fine.
I remember downloading South Park GIFs because you couldn't really download the episodes, so you download the GIFs and send them to each other because that's kind of like watching South Park together.
Yeah. Oh my god, we're just aging ourselves now. It's whatever. It's fine. We're still cool though. We're still very cool. It's fine. Yeah. With that and my soul destroyed for feeling old. Thank you.
Not a problem.
I guess that's it for this episode.
Yeah, it seems as good a spot to end as any.
I mean, we did talk about the movies. We talked about other things, but we talked about the movies. We can't say we didn't. Yeah. So I think we've done it well. Well, thank you so much, Brendan, for coming on this week.
Thank you for having me, as always. I always enjoy it. So it's always a lot of fun.
I guess we'll see you next year back on the show at some point.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah.
Yeah, it's always fun to have you here. Did you want to plug your upcoming show?
Is that okay? Yeah. So I've enjoyed doing podcasts with Tracy so much that I was like, I need one of these. And, so I have started a podcast quite recently with my friend Nick, and we've done some other projects together. But right now we're focused on this podcast. We've got, I think, 10 episodes in the bag. So there's going to be at least 10 episodes that you can listen to when it starts coming out. It's called That Movie You Like, the Sequel. And what we do is look at movies, not nearly in as much depth as Tracy does here. We kind of just talk about our opinion on a movie really briefly, and then we try and write a sequel to that movie. And we try and do this in a pretty quick period of time, like over the course of two weeks. We'll put this together, this not probably a full script, but this idea or this treatment of a movie and we present it to one another, and then we talk about what we like about each other's, what we dislike about it, what we've done that's the same. And then, and really, I guess the big thing, the process of writing it, like how we came up with the idea that we came up with, I think is the really key part of our show that's maybe a little bit different to some other things. And then we haven't released these episodes yet. We're going to be starting to release them from December 10th. So if you go to facebook.com/TMYL2 or tmyl2.wordpress.com, there's not a lot there yet, but there will be on December 10th. And you'll be able to also vote for which one of the sequels you like better. So there is going to be an opportunity for you to give some feedback to us and tell us we suck, or maybe be nice, whatever you want to do. And I think it's safe to say, I don't think I'm going to get in trouble for saying this. Our first 2 episodes coming December 10th are going to be Spider-Man. So we're doing a sequel to the Spider-Man trilogy from Sam Raimi. So we're doing our own versions of Spider-Man 4. So that's what you can come along to see. And hopefully have some fun with us.
Yeah. Don't worry if you didn't get the website that he said. I will put it on my site. It's fine.
Perfect.
So
we appreciate
send me the link. Thank you.
Yes, I will do. Thank you. Thanks. And hopefully we get Tracy maybe on our side of the fence at some point in the future. So if she wants to. I haven't asked, so
you're probably going to go through my history, pick the movie I hated the most, and be like, "We're doing this one." I'll be like, "No,
Van Wilder."
I'll be like, "So next year, COVID happens and they all die. End of movie. Done. Done." It's over. Well, awesome. Yes, I'm actually really looking forward to hearing what you guys come up with. So I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully the listeners will also join into that, and they'll come back for you on here, and we'll go over there. It'll be a whole thing. Yeah.
Join us, team up. It'll be awesome.
Awesome. Well, that's it for this episode of Off My Shelf. Until next time, you can follow along on Instagram and Twitter at Oh My Shelf, or you can send an email to ohmyshelf@gmail.com. On the next episode, we'll be talking about Office Space and Old School. Hope you'll be here to listen.